do that, Jim, but I will be able to tell you about Rick Meyer as he plays the final home game of his Notre Dame career this afternoon. You know, he's never beaten Penn State as a starter, and Rick would love to go out with a victory today. But yesterday he was very ill. He was suffering from a stomach virus all day long. But I asked him today how he felt. He said he got a good night's sleep last night. He gave me the thumbs up, and he said, hey, I do not have time to feel bad today. Meanwhile, Penn State's #1 quarterback Kerry Collins will be starting today for only the 3rd time this season. He missed the first 6 weeks of the year with a fractured index finger, and he's thrown for only 3 touchdowns this year. Today, Collins will be challenged by a Notre Dame defense that certainly played at its peak last week against Boston College.
Collins is going to have to play a very, very fine football game for us to do anything offensively. There'll be a hostile crowd and the whole bit, and he's not had a lot of experience. He's had 2 ball games.
Collins was 28 of 54 for 317 yards 2 weeks ago against BYU, setting Penn State records for attempts and completions. But the most dangerous weapon for the Nittany Lions is triple threat O.J. McDuffie, who's 6th in the nation in all-purpose yards. Last year, he scored 3 times against the Irish. And Penn State tailback Richie Anderson is the leading scorer in the nation with 17 touchdowns this season.
Penn State's offensive line has been one of the best offensive line that we'll faced all year, if not the best. So I think there again, it's just going to be a game of toughness.
And the people that came in with me as far as my friends in the classroom, I want to send them out with a bang as well, send our football team out with a bang.
The Irish still have the nation's biggest bang on offense, and they rank #2 in rushing, behind running backs Jerome Bettis and Reggie Brooks. Last week against Boston College, Brooks became the first 1,000-yard rusher in the Holtz era. The senior tailback is averaging 8.3 yards per carry, on pace to break Notre Dame's all-time season mark set by the legendary George Gipp in 1920. Now, Reggie Brooks may have to carry the load in the Irish backfield again this afternoon because fullback Jerome Bettis is still bothered by that ankle injury. And Coach Lou Holtz told us yesterday that Bettis will not start again today. Bettis rushed for just 5 times last week against Boston College. And let's go to our game analyst now, Chris Collinsworth. Chris, do you expect Bettis to be more of a factor this afternoon against the Nittany Lions?
Yeah, I do, Hannah. I had a chance to talk with Jerome Bettis just a few minutes ago on the field. He says the ankle feels fine and that he's ready to go. And given today's weather conditions, the presence of Jerome Bettis is even more important because when he's right, he's one of the best power fullbacks in the country. If Bettis cannot go, the burden falls once again to tailback Reggie Brooks. Brooks has shown that one man simply is not enough to stop him. And that puts added pressure on Penn State's defensive backs to come up and make the secondary hits on Brooks. Unfortunately, if they come up too quickly, then Rick Meyer has a chance to work the play-action passes down the field. Joe Paterno used this off week to work on some fundamentals like tackling. And if Penn State is to pull off the win here today, they will have to tackle awfully well against Bettis and Brooks. Now let's go down on the field to John Dockery.
You know, Chris, as this series comes to an end, what we have here today is simply basic. Basic no-frills uniforms, black shoes, no decals, simple colors, basic football. Both coaches want to jam it down the other's throat, play some defense, have good special teams. Basically, some excellent talent, some of the finest players in the country, and also 2 of the best coaches ever in college football. Look at Joe Paterno, 27 years, twice national champion, coach of the year many times, the winningest coach, active coach in college football. And Lou Holtz, in his 7th year, he's already got a national championship. He's already been coach of the year. At one point, he won 23 straight. So what we have here today is a basic heavyweight bout on a day that's kind of appropriate for the occasion, Hannah.
It certainly is, and John, as you mentioned, this is the last game of the series between Penn State and Notre Dame. Penn State leading all time with a record of 8-7-1. So with a Notre Dame victory this afternoon, the Irish can actually send this series into the record books dead even. The Notre Dame seniors have an even greater motivation to win today. The last 2 senior classes have lost their final home games at Notre Dame Stadium. The 1990 win by Penn State and last year's devastating loss to Tennessee still linger in the minds of this year's senior class, but so do some much brighter memories.
home game. It means, you know, it's coming to an end and you're going to miss a lot of the guys you played with. And I just don't want to, you know, get into that because, you know, you can start crying and, you know, because it's just a close-knit group.
And just the fight song brings goosebumps to me, you know? And game day, you hear the fight song, you can't help but be energized. And I think that's very special.
I think probably sophomore year against Miami, raising our helmets to the student body after that game. You know, that game was really special to the whole team and for me in particular. And you know, I had the game of my life in that game.
It hits me more and more every day that, hey, Rocky built this place, and here I am playing in it and taking part in something great. I can still remember running out of the tunnel my first time, my freshman year against Michigan. When I run out of that tunnel, it's really going to hit me. And the emotion's just going to start pouring out. Every time I run through there, it's kind of like you're running into a castle. Kind of, you know, you're coming through the tunnel, you come out and there's a pennant up on the walls of the stadium. And that's what kind of reminds me of like you're storming a castle or something.
I've been here for 4 years and I've seen the seniors leave every year. And it just seems like my day would never come. And then now, I mean, today, on the last game, and when I walk up the field, I'll never walk back on as a football player again. I'm looking forward to raising my helmet up and walking out the field.
The Notre Dame class of '93 might not have won a national championship, but they do leave South Bend as one of the winningest classes in Irish history. Coming up on Notre Dame Saturday, a visit with Penn State's Joe Paterno. 27 years ago, he became the head coach of the Nittany Lions, and in that span, he has had more wins than any active coach in Division I-A football. Paterno talks of this season's challenges and the legacy that he'd like to leave his players.
So, I was gonna hit the Foot Locker for the new Nike Air Maestros, but then I thought, how much do I know about these kicks? So I called famous point guard John Stockton and asked him to demo them for me. Then I hear only Foot Locker's got the Nike Flight 89s, so I get old John on the horn again. So, for new Nikes, you know what to do.
Just go to Foot Locker. The new Nike basketball shoes at Foot Locker, where it all begins.
John, is that you?
Families are big business, so everybody says theirs is a family car. All right, tell me it has 90 cubic feet of passenger space like a Subaru Legacy then. Enough room for 5 so you're close but not touching me close. Tell me it has a quiet, horizontally opposed engine like the Legacy. There's enough noise already with a family. Tell me it offers all-wheel drive and anti-lock brakes like a Legacy. A family car is for my family, not some other family I don't care so much about. Tell me I have the money. I want to know what to drive.
The Houston Oilers. They opened the season 4-1 and seem poised for a run at the Super Bowl. But they've lost 3 of their last 4 amidst accusations that some players aren't giving 100%. Why is the Oilers' well run dry? O.J. Simpson has the story. Sunday on NFL Live.
Welcome back to Notre Dame Stadium. Joe Paterno has spent his entire coaching career at Penn State. The 4-time Coach of the Year, has won 2 national championships, and has also managed to prove that football and education are not mutually exclusive. But this season has been a particularly challenging one for Coach Paterno. In July, 3 of his Penn State players, including star flanker O.J. McDuffie, were arrested for their involvement in a fight in State College. And in August, 2 of the Nittany Lions' top wide receivers were charged with burglary and were suspended for the season. Still, Penn State opened with 5 straight wins, but then a loss to Miami ended their national championship hopes, and the Nittany Lions never recovered. When I sat down with Joe Paterno earlier this week, he blamed only himself for the team's struggles this season.
I have not done a really good job with this football team. I haven't done a good job, period, with this football team. I've never got them into the frame of mind that they understood what it was going to take to win any game. And we really have not been sound. We've not been a sound football team. I don't think bold bid or the coalition or anything like that's had anything to do with it. It's had nothing to do with, I know, with my motivation and my wanting to do a better job. I just have not done a good enough job for these kids. But and that's, I mean, people don't want to buy that, but that's true.
It was once written of you that you stick out like a clean thumb in college football.
Right now I got thumbnails are all bitten up into this game.
But you guys have never had any NCAA problems. However, you're not immune to the problems of youth. And you have had some of your players get in trouble with the law for various reasons this summer. How did you handle those situations differently than you might have in the past?
No, I try to handle them in a one-on-one basis and try to be to evaluate just how serious the incidents were. But I try to treat every one of those kids as I would treat my own kid. I mean, my own kids have done some things that I wouldn't want in the paper, that people could blow up. I think you got to be realistic. These are young kids going to college in a college environment, and there's a lot of things that go on in college today that that no parent would want to know about. So I'm just trying to be real. I just try to be fair. That's all.
34-yard field goal. Snap. Spot kick is up in the air. It is good. And Penn State has a 24-21 lead with 4 seconds left to go.
We've had an awful lot of luck with Notre Dame. I think probably the big one was in '86 when Notre Dame had a chance to beat us at the end of the ball game. They had the ball on the 6-7 yard line. I think Berline was their quarterback, and we had a kid by the name of Bobby White make a big play, and we came out of that ball game and were able to win the national championship after that. But I think that game will stick out in my mind because it meant so much to us.
I know you're tough on your kids sometimes. What do you want them to remember, though, later, after they've left Penn State? What do you want them to take away from their experience of spending several years with you?
Yeah, that they're better people for having been part of the program, hopefully. That doesn't mean that they have to be what Joe Paterno is. I don't want that. I want them to be themselves, but I want them to have an idea of what it's going to take to be successful, and be successful in a way that people respect them for.
When you think of Alabama football, you think of Bear Bryant. When you think of Notre Dame, Newt Rockne. The mercurial Woody Hayes at Ohio State. And Joe Paterno is more than Penn State football. You are Penn State. Many people define Penn State by your name. What is that like?
Oh, that sounds good, Annie, but I don't buy that. Again, another thing I like to do, I take my job seriously. I take my profession seriously, but I don't take myself that seriously. I'm not. I mean, we lose a couple more. Next year we lose a few. And all those guys, who's Paterno, get rid of that old guy. He's too old, he's an old fogey, and I know that. That's all part of life, but it's nice to hear. I appreciate you saying it, but I don't believe it.
Quite a humble man. I also asked Joe how much longer he's going to continue coaching, and the 65-year-old Paterno told me he will not even think about retiring for another 5 or 6 years. And next year, certainly, as Penn State enters the Big Ten, Joe Paterno will have a new challenge, adding a Rose Bowl title to his legendary career. After this, we'll go back to our New York studio and check in with my partner, Jim Lampley, on the rest of the day in college football. But first, we'd like to leave you with a taste of Notre Dame tradition, a very emotional Friday night pep rally.
I just want to thank everybody. This has been the best 4 years of my life. As a lot of you guys know, that I like to show a little bit of emotion when I play, and so it's only natural for me to show a little emotion now. This being my final pep rally and my final home game.
This is Grand Central Station, crossroads of the world, and this is the Pitney Bowes 9070 copier. What we're doing is letting people make free copies on a machine that has in excess of 1 million copies.
This is my best friend. I want to make a copy.
I know you want to make a copy. Come on over.
What do I do? I lift this up? Voila.
We're still here. It's a little warm, and the machine is still pumping out cool, crisp copies. We've run 1,013,643 copies and had a little gum on the plant and glass, but I scraped that off, and the machine is working great.
Nipper and Chipper show us what the RCA home theater with SRS sound looks like. Now they show us what it feels like. Looks like, feels like. Looks like, feels like. Any questions?
Tribute honoring 2 decades of Donahue with Oprah Winfrey, Barbara Walters, Geraldo Rivera, and more. It's Donahue's 25th on NBC Sunday.
Three weeks remain now before college football's new bowl coalition takes center stage. Bids for 7 major bowl games on the line, including those for the Orange, Sugar, Cotton, and Fiesta Bowls. Here's a look at how the coalition works and the way the bowl matchups would look if the season ended today. The Bowl Coalition consists of Notre Dame and 6 conferences: the Atlantic Coast Conference, Big East, Big 8, Pac-10, SEC, and Southwest Conference. The coalition decides the pairings in 7 bowls: the Orange, Sugar, Cotton, Fiesta, Gator, Blockbuster, and John Hancock. One thing to keep in mind, the long-standing automatic berths some bowls accord to certain conference champions. Examples: the Sugar with the SEC, the Cotton with the Southwest Conference, the Orange with the Big 8. The Big East champ, Notre Dame, and the Atlantic Coast Conference champion are guaranteed berths in one of these 3 bowls or in the Fiesta Bowl. So currently, the Sugar Bowl fares the best, with the coalition looking to pull off college football's dream game, #1 against #2, Alabama, matched against top-ranked Miami of the Big East. In the Cotton Bowl, the coalition looks to match 4th-ranked Texas A&M with #8, Notre Dame. #7, Nebraska, appears Orange Bowl bound, with the coalition likely to move ACC champion Florida State in to take on the Cornhuskers. The Fiesta Bowl will choose between the 2nd-place teams from either the Big East, Big 8, or Pac-10. The matchup here could very well be #9, Arizona, 2nd in the Pac-10, against either Colorado or the winner of today's game between Syracuse and Boston College. The Gator Bowl will match the 3rd-place team in the Southeastern Conference, which could be #12, Georgia, or #11, Florida, against either the 2nd-place ACC finisher, likely North Carolina State, or the Syracuse-Boston College winner if it fails to receive a Fiesta Bowl bid. Penn State locked into the Blockbuster Bowl last spring. It appears the Nittany Lions could face Stanford, Paterno versus Walsh. Or if Stanford falters, look for North Carolina State or the winner of Colorado-Kansas. The John Hancock Bowl would love to match Texas with either Stanford or Tennessee. Elsewhere in the bowl picture, with a win today, #3 Michigan clinches the Big Ten title and would likely play Washington in the Rose Bowl. The Citrus Bowl matches the #2 teams in the Big Ten and SEC. Currently, Ohio State has the inside track in the Big Ten and will likely meet Florida or Georgia. And also on New Year's Day, the Hall of Fame Bowl features the 3rd-place finisher in the Big East, which will be the loser of today's Syracuse-Boston College game against an SEC opponent, likely Tennessee or Mississippi State. The Liberty Bowl is nearly set, Air Force is in, and so is Mississippi if it beats Louisiana Tech today. And finally, in the Holiday Bowl, Hawaii can clinch a berth with a win over San Diego State tonight. They'll be matched against the 3rd-best Big Ten team, which the Holiday Bowl committee ardently hopes will be Michigan State. So that's a look at the bowl picture. Got it? Don't worry, I'm a little confused too. Now let's check on some of the top-ranked teams in college football, starting with top-ranked Miami. Already underway against Temple in the Orange Bowl. Hurricanes scored the first 4 times they touched the football, putting their 55-game win streak against unranked teams on the line today. 50 in a row in the Orange Bowl, 26 in a row overall. Second possession, Donnell Bennett took the handoff from Gino Torretta, 14 yards up the middle. That made it 10-0. Then another Pruitt field goal. Then a Torretta to Tucker touchdown pass. At that point in the game, Torretta 11 of 14 for 179 yards. Tonight could be a big night for 2nd-ranked Alabama visiting #16 Mississippi State. With a win, the unbeaten Crimson Tide wraps up the SEC West and advances to the conference championship game on December 5 in Birmingham. A win there, Alabama heads to the Sugar Bowl, possibly to play for the national title against Miami. Alabama coach Gene Stallings said this week he has no objection to his players looking ahead toward a shot at the national title.
I would hope they're thinking about it. I mean, what's wrong with thinking about it? Good man. We talk all the time about dreaming and dreaming big and having aspirations. Now all of a sudden you want me to tell them not to? No, don't have a big goal out there. I mean, that's don't be silly. I mean, you're 8-0 or 9-0. You've got to give it a little thought.
In progress, number 3 Michigan hosting Illinois. Win gives the Wolverines the Big Ten title, which they've won or shared for the past 5 seasons. Already, a Gerback to Wheatley 50-yard touchdown pass. Michigan leads 7-3, but in the second quarter, they have already fumbled 7 times in the game, losing 4 of them to Illinois. The 4th one set up an Illinois field goal that made it 7-3. Number 4 Texas A&M survived a scare, rallied to beat Houston Thursday night 38-30. The unbeaten Aggies, first team to win 10 games this season. About a half hour from now, 5th-ranked Florida State kicks off in Tallahassee against Tulane. FSU has won all 9 games in the series, average margin of over 4 touchdowns. 6th-ranked Washington tries to rebound from last week's costly loss to Arizona. Struggling Oregon State visits the Huskies, who did get some good news this week when a Pac-10 committee recommended Washington not be penalized for the 8 games this season in which ineligible quarterback Billy Joe Hobart played. A final decision by the full conference expected by Tuesday of next week. In about an hour, number 7 Nebraska plays the first of 3 straight road games to close out the regular season, visiting Iowa State. The Cornhuskers have exploded over the past 2 weeks, easily winning their key conference tests against Colorado and Kansas by a stunning collective 101-14 margin. Iowa State has lost to Nebraska 14 consecutive times. A newcomer to the top 10, number 9 Arizona visits 18th-ranked USC later this afternoon. The Wildcats have won the last 2 meetings from the Trojans. Arizona's Desert Swarm defense this year yet to allow a first-half touchdown this season, and in facing a pair of number 1 teams, Miami and Washington, Arizona surrendered just 1 TD while outscoring the Hurricanes and Huskies 23-11. As we saw a bit earlier, a game with Major Bowl implications is the visit by 10th-ranked Syracuse to number 17 Boston College. Eagles trying to regroup after last week's rout at the hands of Notre Dame. Syracuse trying not to look ahead to next week's big meeting with Miami in the Carrier Dome. One team which spent some time in the top 10 earlier this season is Tennessee. Not a kind year for 57-year-old Vols head coach Johnny Majors, who after heart surgery in August turned the head coaching responsibilities over to assistant Phil Fulmer. When Majors returned, the Vols under Fulmer were 3-0. Since then, they have lost 3 of 5. Yesterday, Majors confirmed the remaining 2 years of his contract are being bought out by Tennessee. Minutes ago, I spoke with Coach Johnny from Memphis, where the Volunteers take on Memphis State a little bit later this afternoon.
I was shocked, that's all I can say, and I'm going to try every way I can to not be devastated or embittered by a decision that was strictly just something, and I never was surprised. I've never been more surprised in my life, to say the least. But I want to work toward not letting it affect me personally, and trying to keep my eyes straight ahead and try to be ambitious about staying in great health, and also hoping I can be of some worthwhile benefit to somebody somewhere. And I'll find out in some time, I guess.
Before the taping, Majors said he would advise anyone to be careful with their employer when they go for preventive heart surgery. Majors spent 25 years as a head coach at Iowa State, Pittsburgh, and Tennessee. He won a national title in 1976 with the Panthers. At Tennessee, his alma mater, he won 3 Southeastern Conference championships. As a player, he was second in the 1956 Heisman Trophy race to Paul Hornung. That's it for now from here in New York. The kickoff is next, so stay with us for Notre Dame against Penn State in South Bend. Last game at home for the Notre Dame seniors.
An all-new eyewitness video, NBC Sunday at 7. Imagine being trapped in the eye of a tornado, then a prison riot shot from behind prison walls. See the revealing video that brought the kings of porno to justice. And college students held hostage. Meet the survivors. You shot it, we got it. A special eyewitness video, NBC Sunday at 7, 6 Central.
America is watching today, the nation's #1 morning show. And beginning Monday, Bryant and Katie are off to Africa for a week-long tour of this majestic land. If it's important, it's on today.
At Simms, when we say selection, we mean brand names, hundreds of them. We mean men's suits from sizes 36 short to 54 extra longs, and enough different colors and styles, so in most sizes you can choose from over 100 designer and brand names. A real selection of brand names, a real selection of sizes, styles, and colors, and every one at off price. That's what we think a bargain is all about.
What's important to you in a doctor?
I want one. A doctor would go to.
A doctor I can get to. Fast.
I worry about money.
With a specialist. How long has he specialized?
This sounds like our Super Blue network of doctors.
Someone who listens.
Super Blue, from Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Ohio.
It can save money for your business. Call for a quote.
For those who thought full-size luxury car owners were taken for granted, change is in the wind. Introducing the all-new Cadillac Fleetwood Brougham. Totally redesigned to be the quietest Fleetwood ever, the most spacious and the safest, with dual airbags and safety belts that provide supplemental protection for the people closest to you. Now at your local Cadillac Gold Key dealer, changing the way you think about American automobiles.
Jim Donovan on sports, weeknights on Channel 3 News.
In the snow of South Bend, it's the final home game for Notre Dame as legendary coach Joe Paterno leads his 22nd-ranked Penn State Nittany Lions onto this Notre Dame field for the final time. Penn State will join the Big Ten next season, so this is the last game against Notre Dame, and Paterno and the Nittany Lions have beaten the Irish 2 straight times. Penn State headed to the Blockbuster Bowl, a record of 6-3. That's after a 5-0 start, but they had an open date last week that gives them 2 weeks to prepare for this game. Joe Paterno hoping to get his Nittany Lions emotionally ready for this big game. They have some offensive weapons. Richie Anderson, O.J. McDuffie, chief among them. Some of the seniors just introduced to this crowd for the final time, making their final home appearance. And the Notre Dame team has dedicated this game to their seniors, hoping they will all play like a champion today. Many tears were shed at the pep rally last night as the seniors faced the student body as football team members for the final time at home. And the seniors introduced to this crowd sold out for the 106th straight time. 20 scholarship seniors making their final appearance on this field. The third winningest recruiting class of all time at Notre Dame. And another giant of the coaching ranks, Lou Holtz, sending his Irish onto the Notre Dame field. Another below freezing afternoon in South Bend. Game time temperature 31 degrees with a brisk wind from the north. We're expecting an inch or 2 of snow accumulation possible before the afternoon is over. Hello, everyone, and welcome to South Bend, Indiana, Notre Dame Stadium. Tom Hammond and Chris Collinsworth with this match between two teams headed for postseason play, but headed in opposite directions in recent weeks. Notre Dame, of course, comes off that great win over Boston College. Penn State, Chris, though, has lost 3 of their last 4 games.
Yeah, and it all started against Miami, a game that Penn State could have won. Joe Paterno really blames himself for getting his team too jacked up for that one, and emotionally, they just haven't been the same since. But they've had a week off, had a chance to go back and work on some fundamentals, and Lou Holtz is sure that he will see the team that played so well against Miami.
Notre Dame's All-American fullback Jerome Bettis will not start. He has a lingering ankle injury. But the big question for the Irish is the physical status of their quarterback, Rick Meyer.
Yeah, Rick Meyer spent the day in the infirmary yesterday. He was unable to keep down any food, but the good news is he got up this morning, held down his breakfast, and should be ready to go. But the question has to be his endurance. How long can he go? Can he make it 4 quarters here today?
Well, of course, the weather conditions could play a part in the outcome of this game. For more on that, let's go to the sideline and John Dockery. Doc?
You know, Tom, this is a day for real football. The weather conditions are worsening as we speak. You mentioned it was in the 30s. Well, the wind chill probably brings it down more into the teens, and they're talking about a temperature drop of 20 to 25 degrees. You see the snow flurries coming down. The field has been covered all week, though it's slightly slippery. And yesterday, Joe Paterno was talking about the weather conditions as possibly helping his team, especially the wind, which would neutralize the fine passing game of the Irish. So weather conditions today, if they worsen, will favor Penn State, the underdog, and Joe Paterno. Tom?
Some of the students don't mind the conditions, obviously, as we look at the series record. And as we said, this is the last meeting between the two, so a Notre Dame win today means the series will be tied forever. Penn State the winner the last 2 times they have met. Penn State won the toss. They defer to the second half, so Notre Dame will receive to start the game. Holds Irish, ranked 8th in the nation, headed for a New Year's Day bowl. Joe Paterno's Nittany Lions headed for the Blockbuster Bowl. Musilla with a kickoff, and it's a short kick. Fair catch called for and taken by Notre Dame. They'll have great field position to start, just short of their 40-yard line. Here are the starting lineups now for Notre Dame, the #1 total offense team in the nation. Rick Mirer needs only 6 yards to take over the Irish all-time lead in total offense. The rest of the lineup, Brooks leads the nation, averaging 8.3 yards a carry. And in the line, Knapp, Norman, and Hall making their final home appearance today. Mirer hands to Brooks on first down. It's spin move by Brooks, nets him only about 3 yards before he's tackled by Willie Smith at an inside linebacker spot. Here's the Penn State defense. On the defensive line, Taroka Jackson now recovered from an ankle injury. Their best pass rusher, Givens, also hobbled by injury when healthy, one of the best in the college ranks. Secondary's been victimized in recent games. Derek Bana made a key short yardage tackle of Jerome Bettis, though, in the Penn State win over Notre Dame last season. Brooks in motion. Meyer's first pass is complete to Jarrell. Adrian Jarrell pulls his way to midfield, and with that pass, Rick Mirer has just become Notre Dame's all-time total offense leader. It went for 9 yards, and he breaks Verline's record at Notre Dame. Here's a look at the total yardage up to date, including that 9-yard pass. Rick Mirer, in Notre Dame's storied history, is the all-time total offense leader. Brooks coming from a wing spot, and Penn State was ready for that. They stop him for a loss of 1 on the play.
Tom, that was the formation that they used so effectively against Boston College last week. The wing back with Reggie Brooks in that formation. They used the inside trap here to try and spring Brooks, but it was not to be as Phil Yeboah-Cody came up to make the tackle.
Yeboah-Cody leads Penn State in tackles this season, a native of Canada. Derek Mays into the game, sprint wide to the left as they send 3 wideouts left. That's Brooks on the wing. No running backs behind Mirer. Dean Lytle is to the right. Mirer pumps. Across the middle to Irv Smith, the tight end. And Smith tripped up inside the Penn State 35. Another Irish first down. Marlon Forbes made the stop after a 15-yard gain.
Nice job by Rick Mirer. They had the out and up as an audible on the outside to Derek Mays. It wasn't there. Penn State playing very conservatively in the secondary. They come right back to Irv Smith. Nice job of patience by Rick Mirer.
16th reception of the season for the senior Smith out of Browns Mills, New Jersey.
Here's the wingback formation again.
Wing right is Brooks. Meyer's pass deflected at the line of scrimmage and still caught, I think, by Jarrell.
Joe Paterno told us yesterday that this Notre Dame offense is better than their 1988 national championship team. Mirer got lucky there. The ball was tipped, and Jarrell's still able to come up with the catch.
Jarrell, a senior from Athens, Georgia, with his 2nd reception of the day. He only had 6 coming into the game, and Rick Mirer, despite that deflection, 3 for 3 to start the game. Irish driving, opening series of the contest. Might be another audible by Mirer. Dawson couldn't quite make the catch off his hands. Well covered by Shelly Hammonds.
Nice play that time by Shelly Hammonds. He began each of the last 2 seasons at defensive back before moving back to running back, and he may be the best open field runner on this Penn State team. He averaged 5.8 yards per carry, which is better than either of the starting backs for Penn State this year. Joe Paterno said, "I feel good about having Hammonds in our secondary until I watch him on film as a running back last year."
7th play of the Notre Dame drive. They're 3rd and 6. Meyer scrambles and finds the open man. Irv Smith has his 2nd catch of the game. He has a Notre Dame first down at the Penn State 15. That play covered 14 yards.
Tom, of the 93 drives that Rick Meyer has started this year, more than half have put points on the board. That is a remarkable stat, and 44% of those drives have resulted in touchdowns.
Meyer's had the hot hand lately. Over the last 4 games, he's hit 65% of his passes, 9 touchdowns, only 1 interception. Lytle thrown back after he gained a couple. That's only the 3rd rushing play for Notre Dame. They've passed it 5 times already, and of course there is where you might expect to see Jerome Bettis, who's not in the game, his replacement Lytle getting the carry.
Well, they have the rules about practice. If you don't practice on certain days during the week, then you don't get a chance to start. But Dean Lytle is a very fast fullback, maybe as fast as any fullback in the country. He set the conference record in the 200 meters during the indoor track season this year, and he was undefeated in that race in high school.
Number 4 is Lee Becton, who replaces Brooks in the Notre Dame backfield. He's in motion and gets the handoff. Lytle throws a great block, and Becton tripped up, fell forward for another couple of yards.
Becton is the 3rd leading rusher on this team, averaging 5.6 yards per carry. Ordinarily, that would make you an All-American candidate on a lot of teams, but with Bettis and Brooks and Zellers and all the big numbers that these Notre Dame backs have put up, it just kind of puts you as a member of the crowd here.
Joe Paterno's defense trying to hold off Notre Dame on the 10th play of the drive coming up. 10:40 left in the first quarter, opening series of the game. Delayed handoff to Becton. Becton broke 1 tackle, got inside the 10, down to the 8-yard line. Lee Rubin coming up from the free safety spot to make the stop for Penn State, and now Lou Holtz with a decision to make on 4th down. And he sends his kicker, Hentrick, onto the field.
Lou Holtz decides to go with the draw play on 4th down, a fairly conservative call.
26-yard field goal attempt by Hentrick, the senior kicker, who's hit 6 of 9 field goals this season, 32 being his longest. That was a week ago against Boston College. And the kick is good. Craig Hentrick hits from 26 yards out. Notre Dame, given great field position to open the game, comes up with an opening 3-point lead.
I got an '88 Chevrolet Silverado with 304,000 miles. I drive it to work, 125 miles one way to work, 304,000 miles, still rolling.
This is the 1986 Chevrolet Scottsdale. The truck has now 577,000 miles on it. It always gives me my dollar when I needed my dollar.
Chevrolet, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road.
Keep tires on it, keep gas in it, it'll go.
Grandfather, I was wondering, are you rich?
Huh? I don't know if I'm rich. I have more money than I ever thought I would have, that's for sure.
So why don't you have a car?
A car? I don't need a car. Besides, I'd rather take walks with nice people like you.
Where did you get all your money?
Oh, I've worked a long time and invested it.
What's that?
An investment?
Yeah.
Well, it's sort of like buying a green peach.
A green peach?
That's right. You set it up on your windowsill, and one day you have a plump, juicy peach, and everybody wants to eat it. But it's your peach. And that's sort of what an investment is.
You must have an awful lot of peaches, Grandfather.
Ask your financial advisor about Nuveen tax-free investments, or simply call this number.
Notre Dame football is brought to you by Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. By Radio Shack, America's technology store. Nobody compares. by John Nuveen and Company. Quality tax-free investment since 1898. And by HP LaserJet printers. If it isn't a LaserJet, it's only a laser printer.
Fighting Irish get a short kickoff to start the game and record 3 points as Hendrick kicks off with McDuffie and Morris deep for Penn State. This will be Morris from the 5. Behind the wedge, Morris bounces off tacklers to the outside. Nice return all the way out to the 38-yard line where Jeff Burris makes the tackle, a 33-yard return. Here's the Penn State starting offense. The quarterback, Kerry Collins, starting his 3rd game. He's thrown 3 touchdown passes, 1 interception. He stepped in when John Sacca was injured. In the backfield, Anderson leads the nation in scoring, 17 touchdowns. McDuffie needs 4 catches to set the Penn State record. Offensive line anchored by E.J. Sandusky, son of longtime defensive coordinator Jerry Sandusky. Split backs in the backfield, O'Neal and Anderson. In a reverse, McDuffie fumbled it and then gets away from a couple of tacklers to midfield and a Penn State first down. Tom Carter made a saving tackle. It went for 12 yards despite the bobble by McDuffie.
What a huge play on this play by Tom Carter. He was blocked. They almost fumbled the handoff, almost fumbled the exchange. A very gutsy call by Joe Paterno on the very first play of the game. Watch number 13, Tom Carter. Simply, if he does not make the play, that is a touchdown.
So Penn State with a first down at midfield. This is Anderson. Flag down as Anderson gains 5 to the 45-yard line. First penalty of the game will be assessed. Ronald Winter of the Big Ten is the referee. This is an all Big Ten crew.
Richie Anderson's teammate, Rich McKenzie, said that when Richie Anderson is on the field, you just hold your breath. If he finds a crack, he can be in the end zone in seconds. One of the most dynamic players in college football, leads the nation in scoring.
Anderson has had some subpar games in big games, but it's because Penn State's been behind. Illegal motion against the Nittany Lions. Joe Paterno's team penalized 5 yards, negating a 5-yard gain.
Interesting that he comes out on the first play of the game and runs that reverse. Joe Paterno obviously feeling like that he can leave nothing in the bag here this afternoon, and he doesn't like the call, not even a little bit.
Illegal procedure. Offense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat first down.
See if we can pick up the procedure call.
That was Grebe in motion. And I didn't see anything on that replay. Of course,
the only thing that is possible is he may have been moving towards the line of scrimmage. That may have been the call.
He went across the picture and may have turned up too early.
Right.
Pass by Collins results in a Notre Dame sack all the way back to the 40. McGill and Young converge on Collins and take him down on the first passing attempt of the day for Penn State. Let's take a look at that starting Notre Dame defensive unit. They've been susceptible to the pass early in the season, but played well a week ago. Devon McDonald leads the team in sacks. He and DeBose likely headed to the NFL next season. Anthony Peterson from Pennsylvania, the top tackler. That's the secondary. Burris has 5 interceptions. Carter has 4.
Kerry Collins started at BYU 2 weeks ago. Paterno said Collins was jittery early, saying the crowd bothered him, but eventually he settled down. But unfortunately, they were behind 30-3 at that point.
Draw play on 2nd and 20. It's Brian O'Neal who gets 5 yards of it back, and it'll be 3rd and long for Penn State after Peterson and Flanagan make the tackle. And 3rd down conversions is where Notre Dame has made a tremendous improvement defensively.
Last week against Boston College, Lou Holtz's defense stopped BC on 3rd down 12 of 13 times. 12 of 13 times. That is a remarkable stat.
Demetrius DeBose was telling us there were very few missed defensive assignments in that game. Everybody was on the same page. And looked at a line stunt and the pass intercepted. The ball deflected. John Covington and Tom Carter right there together, and Notre Dame off the deflected pass makes the interception of Collins.
Just a poor read by Kerry Collins. It was a zone on the outside. Tom Carter just sitting and waiting for Ryan Grieve to come out. And then John Covington making the nice interception. Poor read by Kerry Collins, the Penn State quarterback.
And watch this one-handed cradle of the ball by Covington, his third interception. Big play by the defense of Notre Dame.
Reincarnation, the belief you can come back is just about anything. Why do some guys have all the luck? Try a beer that drinks like a light with real draft taste. Bud Dry. Because while luck may run out,
Happy birthday, Grandma.
For me?
true refreshment won't.
When we set out to design the new Geo Prism, the possibilities were endless. Then, step by step, we built a car that's as well thought out as it is well engineered. Once you see the end result, we think you'll agree. It all came together beautifully. Get to know the newest Geo Prism, at your Chevrolet Geo dealers.
At Radio Shack, there's more to the name. Top electronics, computers and games, more products and service than ever before. It's all from America's technology store. The best in America, Radio Shack. Nobody compares to Radio Shack. Names you can trust, products you know, the service you count on. There's one place to go for the best in America. Radio Shack.
Other laser printers have been playing leapfrog for years in a futile effort to catch up with the HP LaserJet. Now they're truly up against it. Hewlett-Packard introduces the HP LaserJet 4, a new generation, a new standard to reach for. Good luck, fellas. If it isn't a LaserJet, it's only a laser printer.
An all-new eyewitness video, NBC Sunday at 7. Imagine being trapped in the eye of a tornado, then a prison riot shot from behind prison walls. See the revealing video that brought the kings of porno to justice. And college students held hostage. Meet the survivors. You shot it, we got it. A special eyewitness video, NBC Sunday at 7, 6 Central.
Notre Dame with the lead and set to put the ball in play after the interception just short of midfield. Rick Myers hit 4 of his first 5 passes. Play action here. Irv Smith with his 3rd catch of the game. Bowling his way inside the 35-yard line. 17 yards. Big Irv Smith telling us yesterday he was going to block out the fact that this was his final home game. And though he'd like to have a few more receptions, his blocking had gone to a new level. Looks good receiving the ball here.
Yeah, he really does. And he says that the strength of his game is catching the football. He doesn't get a chance to do it very often, but he wants America to know that he is a good receiver.
He wants America to know, or the pro scouts to know?
Just a couple of those guys.
And Lytle dodges one man and then piles straight ahead inside the 25-yard line. Notre Dame got it going on the ground and through the air at the moment. That one went 9 yards for Dean Lytle, who has replaced Bettis in the lineup, and Bettis has yet to see action. Let's go down to John Dockery.
You know, Tom, talking to Joe Paterno yesterday, one of the things he was most worried about, it's almost a self-fulfilling prophecy, was an early turnover. What happens to Penn State early? A lousy kick. Notre Dame comes down, gets a field goal, and then on the ensuing offensive series, a turnover. So right now, Joe Paterno is perturbed. You saw him with the officials before on that call, and he's worried about his team. They need a confidence builder right now, especially in this first quarter. If they get behind early, which they are now 3-0, if it goes to 10-0, Penn State could be in trouble.
Lee Rubin, the Nittany Lions free safety, shaken up on the play, able to come to the sideline under his own power.
I really like the game plan by Lou Holtz so far. It's been wide open. We talked about Brooks and Bettis at the top of the show, but so far it's been all Rick Meyer.
Here's Reggie Brooks. slammed down after a short gain, and I think short of the first down. They only needed a yard. I don't believe he gained that much. Is Phil Yeboah Cody from Montreal, Canada, leading tackler for the Nittany Lions, stopped right up the middle.
Now 3rd and 1, maybe less than 1, and Notre Dame in short yardage situations this year as Jeff Burris checks into the ball game. On 3rd down and 2 or less, they are 16 for 18 on the season.
They'll line up in that old-fashioned straight T formation with Burris, normally a safety on the defense end. Zellers is also in. And straight ahead is Ray Zellers. Zellers picking up the Notre Dame first down as they go to their power run formation.
Joe Paterno said that defensively, we haven't been able to stop anybody lately. In Penn State's last 3 games against Boston College, West Virginia, and Brigham Young, the defense has given up 102 points and lost 2 of those 3 games.
And of course, when Penn State gets behind, they have to come out of their normal game plan, which is based around the run. And it radically alters the way they approach a game if they get behind early.
Back to the wingback set.
Fake to Brooks. Meyer can't get away from the rush. Penn State comes up with its first sack of the game, and it goes to Todd Berger, backup nose tackle, a senior out of Clark, New Jersey, former offensive tackle.
Rick Meyer had Irv Smith wide open on this play. They had it set up perfectly. Eric Clare came up the field and got contained quickly on Rick Meyer. Watch Irv Smith. He's going to pop completely free, fake the block down, and then just simply wide open in the flat. Rick Meyer couldn't find him.
Meyer got rid of it. Lytle can't get it. It's intercepted by Penn State. Interception made by Penn State's Lee Rubin, who had been shaken up a couple of plays earlier, returns to the field for his 2nd pick of the season, and a rare turnover by Rick Meyer. That's only his 5th interception of the season.
He threw a floater, Tom. He threw it off his back foot, let it hang in the air too long. He tried to get it to Dean Lytle. It looked like Lytle was wide open and could just drift on down the field, but that simply was not the case as Lee Rubin stepped in for the interception and give new life to Penn State.
Meyer with a rare interception. Rubin picked it off.
This Heisman Trophy moment is brought to you by State Farm Insurance. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. College football's most prestigious award took its name from the legendary coach John Heisman. Heisman's shrewd and innovative coaching is credited with moving football into the modern era. Among his contributions are the center snap and helping legalize the forward pass. 2 months after Heisman's death in 1936, the Downtown Athletic Club trophy was renamed the Heisman Trophy.
Mark and Rennie and little Lindsay are a young family just starting out. They don't have a lot of money for life insurance. I'm their State Farm agent, Gaylord Mooseman. Instead of giving Mark and Rennie a big life insurance sales talk, I did a lot of listening. And we came up with a plan that's going to work for their budget and little Lindsay's future, too. State Farm agents are good listeners because we want you to have life insurance you can live with.
State Farm sells life insurance.
Way back before the Pathfinders, before the Explorers, even before the Cherokees, there was Blazer. Now the first sport utility vehicle of its kind offers you all this and the performance of a 200 horsepower V6. You can spend thousands more on something else, but there's only one way to get the experience of a Chevy Blazer, the vehicle that originated the species.
The Quick Finish Power Sander from Black & Decker. To do as much as easily, your hand would have to move at 15,000 strokes per minute and be equipped with a handy on-off switch. The Quick Finish Power Sander, a powerful gift idea from Black & Decker.
Now save 25% on selected Goodyear all-season radials for cars and light trucks. Save 25% on Invicta GS. Save 25% on Wrangler AT and HT. That's right, save 25%. Where? Goodyear. When? Now.
The speedway sizzles. The action gets hotter as the nation's top dragsters burn up the tracks on the final event of the year, the NHRA Winston Finals, next Saturday.
While we were away, Lou Holtz having a talk with his quarterback Rick Meyer after that interception, and I'm sure Chris asking how he feels.
Yeah, that has to be the first question, but also a little explanation on how you can't just float the ball down the middle of the field.
So Notre Dame unable to take advantage of the Penn State turnover. They give it right back to the Nittany Lions. A lot of shifting by the defensive line of Notre Dame as the play unfolds. And it's a handoff to Anderson. Richie Anderson shows that great running ability. He rips off about 6 yards before he's tackled by Demetrius DuBose.
Richie Anderson has almost triple the number of attempts of any other back on this team, averaging 4.6 yards per carry. Is supposed to be one of the best backs in the country at diving over the pile and getting it into the end zone. His 17 touchdowns certainly speaks to that.
Leads the nation in scoring, 17 touchdowns. That is tied for the second mark on the Penn State list, tying John Cappelletti, 1973. Lydell Mitchell had 29. He holds the record. Collins pass, broken up, intended for Justin Williams, and Tom Carter, the man that broke it up.
Ron Cooper, the defensive backfield coach, yesterday. Look at Joe Paterno. He doesn't like it again. Joe has been red hot early in this one. He sees his team with a chance to get in it. Let's see if Carter gets there too early.
Close.
In general, as long as the defensive back is looking back for the ball and is making his motion towards the football, they're not going to call that.
I think that's good coverage. 3rd and 2 for Penn State. Anderson with one of the dives that you mentioned, getting the first down to the 40. Bobby Taylor, the freshman, in there trying to stop him, but as you predicted, Anderson airborne for the first.
Well, I'm a believer now. He got way up on this one. Watch this. All the way over the pile and flies for about 3 or 4 yards. Woo! And a first down. About 5 yards.
Well, you know, he used to average over 20 points a game in basketball. He showed his jumping ability out of Sandy Spring, Maryland. Collins down the sideline. Thomas with a catch. Trying to stay in bounds. He stepped out at about the 14.
And a flag.
Tyson Thomas, a senior out of York, Pennsylvania, with only his 8th catch of the season, as Collins spotted him down the sideline for 46 yards.
And it looks like they may be tacking on a little more to that. Thomas stepped out of bounds, and then I couldn't tell if it was Burris or Taylor that may have hit him late on down the field.
Dead ball. Personal foul against the defense. Mistakes will be set. First down. The penalty will be administered half the distance to the goal.
Now this is a tough call if these young men just did not hear the whistle and then tried to go after Tyson Thomas. They may not have known that he was out of bounds. Let's see. Goes out right there. Now the official's going to begin to blow the whistle there.
Oh, that's why. Burris with a forearm to the head. That's what drew the flag, and rightfully so.
That officially qualifies as the snow begins to rip down as a personal foul. Good call.
Incomplete, intended for Brian O'Neill.
Take a look from the end zone. Joe Paterno comes right out with the rollout pass. They're going to try and dump it quickly in the flat and just overthrows it a bit. They weren't looking for much. That was a ball possession type of throw. They wanted 4 or 5 yards, get it down inside the 5-yard line, take 2 cracks at it from there.
And Notre Dame has taken a timeout. Demetrius DuBose not happy with what he had on the field. And defensively, Notre Dame will spend a timeout.
With all the problems that Penn State has had in the past 4 ball games, losing 3 of those 4. A big moment for Joe Paterno's squad here early in this ball game to jump out in front of Notre Dame, a team that has just been burying people as of late, would give his squad a real emotional lift. And Paterno talked about going back to the fundamentals, and you can see it. This team's doing a nice job of blocking. They're not trying to overwhelm this Notre Dame defense. And, of course, the big play with Tyson Thomas down the sideline.
Hope you'll be with us tomorrow for NFL action starting at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time with NFL Live. Then most of you will see the Oilers take on the Minnesota Vikings, 2 of the top offenses in the NFL. Some of you will see the Seahawks face the Raiders in an AFC West showdown or regional action. Check your local listings. Kerry Collins, who emerged from spring practice as Penn State's #1 quarterback before breaking his finger in a family volleyball game trying to spike. Trying to direct Penn State to a touchdown in the lead, 2nd and goal. Fake the pitch, hand straight ahead to O'Neal. O'Neal plowing ahead. I said 2nd and goal. It was actually 2nd and 3. They can pick up a first down, and it will be close. Collins says they got it.
Got a good matchup on the outside should Joe Paterno choose to exploit it. O.J. McDuffie, their All-American candidate, one-on-one against Tom Carter. Ron Cooper, the defensive backfield coach, said that if we're going to get in a one-on-one situation with McDuffie, I want it to be Carter. If we'll double him, I'll use Carter elsewhere. First down.
It will be 1st and goal for the Nittany Lions. Spot the ball at the 4-yard line. Brian Hamilton into the defensive line for Notre Dame, replacing Junior Bryant. Over the top. They shift out of the power eye to split backs. Tried to go airborne, did Anderson, and couldn't get there. Stopped by the Notre Dame defense. Demetrius DeBose right in the middle of things.
And Jeff Burris was looking for one major mid-air collision that time with Richie Anderson, and Demetrius DeBose, he's fired up. Richie Anderson was quoted in the paper as saying that once he breaks the line of scrimmage, that he could run over any linebacker that Notre Dame has. Demetrius DeBose wasn't too crazy about that comment.
2nd and goal from the 2. 8th play of the drive that began after an interception. Anderson. Again stopped.
Richie Anderson likes to do, come right over the top. Watch the number of bodies flying in midair. Boom. Right there, the collision. Nice job. This is just simply a case. Penn State knows what they're going to do. Notre Dame knows it. You get one more crack at it, 3rd and a yard. Same play. Anderson. This time he got it. There's a flag down. So Ron Winter saying offside Notre Dame. The touchdown stands.
Captain. Okay, now do you want the penalty assessed here?
Joe Paterno's team taking the Meyer interception, marching down for the go-ahead score.
Richie Anderson certainly is not faint of heart. 3 times in a row he goes up over the top knowing that he's going to get smacked around pretty good. That time just enough. Watch Anthony Peterson trying for the midair collision. But J.T. Morris got just enough of Anthony Peterson to prevent him from jumping and meeting Richie Anderson in midair.
Snow coming down with a vengeance now as the extra point attempt is up. And blocked by Notre Dame. Was it DuBose? No, let's see. Who was it that got in there? It might have been Bobby Taylor, the freshman. We know the great jumping ability of Taylor.
Xeros's 5A Basketball Player of the Year, and it sure was Bobby Taylor with the block.
Still, Penn State has the lead.
Out here, we work part-time and play full-time.
I was 18, didn't have a care, working for peanuts, not a dime to spare.
To get the most fun out of every dollar, get into America's best-selling first truck. S10 pickup for around $8,000 from Chevrolet. The most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road.
Like a rock, like a rock.
Our instructions had an error, and 1,000 orders were due Friday.
With the speed of a Xerox digital color copier, you'll get this order on the road again. Intelligent color for any document, only from Xerox.
Putting it together.
We'd like color in our copies, but what small business can afford it?
With Xerox Highlight Color, concerns about the cost of color disappear with just a touch. Intelligent color for any document, only from Xerox.
Putting it together.
Sum it up, point C, you can't afford. Point D, we don't offer. Which leaves us with point E. We're working on that one. Well, gentlemen, ladies, I trust you'll make the right choice.
It's the same. Let's get MCI in here.
This Magnavox portable CD player with pure digital sound is the best thing to take on vacation. Unless you compare it with this clever Magnavox 5-inch TV. Great pictures anywhere. Of course, the best is this compact yet intelligent Magnavox camcorder with autofocus. Unless you take this Magnavox 3-inch LCD TV, which connects to my camcorder so I can watch my vacation on the ride home. Looks as though I had a pretty good time.
The ingenious products from Magnavox. They're smart, very smart.
The Houston Oilers. They opened the season 4-1 and seem poised for a run at the Super Bowl. But they've lost 3 of their last 4 amidst accusations that some players aren't giving 100%. Why is the Oilers' well run dry? O.J. Simpson has the story. Sunday on NFL Live.
The snow at Notre Dame Stadium coming down nearly in chunks now, almost obscuring the mosaic on the side of the Hesburgh Library. In the distance, the house that Rockne built. Notre Dame Stadium sold out for the 106th consecutive time. Penn State just driving down the field, 72 yards for the go-ahead touchdown. Point after blocked at 6-3 Nittany Lions. Basillo's kick, again a short one, and taken by one of the upbacks. Fumble. Notre Dame got it back. Brian King knocked the ball loose. Lee Becton was able to recover it for the Irish. No, it was Miller that went back to get it, I guess.
And what Penn State and Joe Paterno is doing, they don't want Mike Miller to get his hands on the football. He runs about a 4.340. He's had a great deal of success on kickoff returns this year. And it looked like Lee Becton may be injured on the play.
He's had an injured shoulder, and it looks like that right shoulder that is dragging a bit as he comes off.
Here's the hit that caused the fumble and also injured Becton.
Ooh. First down at the 22 for the Irish, now trailing by 3. Brooks finds a running room on the right side and is just tripped up. Brooks, who had carried 3 times for only 3 yards prior to that one, was tripped up by Brian Gelheiser, or he was off to the races.
Watch how Reggie Brooks is holding onto the ball. Obviously, with all the snow and the poor conditions, he does not want to fumble. Nice job that time by Dean Lytle tying up Gelheiser, who just made a shoestring tackle. I'll tell you, Reggie Brooks in the open field, very, very, very dangerous.
Becton having that right shoulder looked after on the sideline. Lytle bursts free, then fumbles the football. It's still loose, and Penn State recovers. Shelly Hammonds fell on the ball after Reggie Gibbons had knocked it loose. Second Notre Dame turnover as Lytle fumbles.
Looks like a dream for Joe Paterno. This is what he needed. His defense has struggled in the past few weeks. They needed some breaks. He told us yesterday he needed something positive to happen early in this ball game. And so far it has. The interception by Rick Meyer, and now the fumble by Dean Lytle.
Ball was stripped by Gibbons. Hammonds recovered. First down, Nittany Lions. Collins. That one was nearly picked off by Greg Lane of Notre Dame. Dangerous pass. He threw into double coverage, and Lane nearly had an interception and probably a touchdown.
I really don't know what Kerry Collins is doing. He looks a little unsettled, and he wouldn't be the first guy that we have seen come in here at the quarterback position and have problems early in the ball game. A lot of very dangerous passes out in the flat, and what you don't want to do because of the effort of your defense is now all of a sudden give up a cheap touchdown with your offense.
Collins' only completion was a big one, though, 46 yards to set up their touchdown. Anderson tackled after a gain of 1 or 2. Let's go down to John Dockery. Got those ears warm, Doc?
I'm trying to keep warm, John. As you can see, the snow is starting to stick on the ground here and making it a little more slippery. That's part of the reason. Besides that, it's very cold down here. Wind chill has to be in the low teens. And there's one other factor. The wind is starting to whip kind of left to right. So right now, the end of the quarter is coming. So the wind factor will change as Penn State will get the win in the second quarter, Tom.
Well, bad weather generally favors the underdog. Right now, the underdog has the lead. 6-3, Penn State after 1.
Braun introduces Flex Control, the first electric shaver with a pivoting head. Flex Control automatically adjusts to every contour of your face. Under the chin, under the lip, that tricky spot under your nose. You'll get the closest Braun shave yet. Flex Control from Braun, the last word in shavers.
Reincarnation, the belief you can come back is just about anything. Why do some guys have all the luck? Try a beer that drinks like a light with real draft taste. Bud Dry. Because while luck may run out,
Happy birthday, Grandma.
For me?
true refreshment won't.
We all count on our batteries to get us through, but you never know when they're going to hit the skids. Only Duracell has the Copper Top Battery Tester, so you can be sure your batteries will keep you gliding along. You can't top the Copper Top.
When regular drills hold you back, send in the Ranger cordless drill from Black & Decker. It goes anywhere to handle all the tough jobs. No strings attached. The Ranger cordless drill, a powerful gift idea from Black & Decker.
The Ironman, the most demanding test of strength and perseverance in all of sports. 2.5 miles by water, 112 miles by bike, then the 26-mile marathon. Witness the agony and the ecstasy of the world's best triathletes. The Gatorade Ironman Triathlon, next Saturday on NBC.
Tom Hammond, Chris Collinsworth, John Dockery from Notre Dame Stadium, and the kind of weather football was designed for.
And remember, everybody's talking about third down for this Notre Dame defense. Last year, Penn State converted 60% of the time. Today, 2 for 3. Collins, under pressure, misses his man, O'Brien. Wide open. Absolutely wide open. Going down the field was Brian O'Neill, and Kerry Collins just overthrowing. That could have been a very big play for Penn State. The safeties were gone. Well, they were kind of close.
What about visibility in snow this thick? I mean, the cameras don't give the true picture. It's got to be difficult to see at field level.
Yeah, the worst part is the snowflakes will hit your eyes from time to time. It can be very difficult as a wide receiver running down the field just to look back and have a snowflake hit you in the eye.
First punt of the game for either side. Jamie Drees. Miller, if he can find it, makes the catch and then is hit and dropped after about a 3-yard gain. Let's go to New York now for a college football update with Jim Lampley.
Look at one of the most entertaining plays of the entire season. Gino Torretta trying for a touchdown pass to Horace Copeland. Copeland thinks he has the TD catch. As the official says incomplete, Copeland with the back flip. I got your back flip right here, says Keita Crespina of Temple. Later, Toretta completed the drive with a touchdown pass to Kevin Furkite. It's 34 Miami nothing. 34-0 Miami, I should say, in the third quarter. A backflip back to you guys.
Tom, if I do a backflip, will you do one?
Number 6 belongs to Jerome Bettis. Time for him to make his first appearance of the game. Bettis, the All-American fullback, number 2 rusher for the Irish. He's gained 668 yards coming into this contest, as you see, averaging 5.5 a carry.
Well, this is fullback weather. That's what Lou Holtz wants to get done. He wants to get back to the fundamentals of this offense, which is Brooks and Bettis. The thing that we have seen is that neither of these players are as good without the other. But when they're both in the backfield at the same time, explosive things happen. Looks like they're going to punt this one again.
I didn't see a flag, but it may be hard to see one on that field. It took a while for him to sort it out, that's for sure.
This is just fun.
Well, for us.
Yeah, this is fun. If we close these windows in here, it'd be a lot more fun.
Yeah, I know.
They just the snow, but as the conditions get worse, it certainly does favor Penn State, especially with the lead.
So Dries will kick again. And Miller calls for a fair catch at his own 20-yard line. 38-yard punt by Penn State, and the Irish offense now retakes the field. Meyer with a last-second conference with Lou Holtz.
And you have to wonder how Rick is feeling. A lot of times when you have the stomach virus or whatever, you begin to get the chills. So, let's go down to John Dockery.
Yes, Tom, I'm down here in the field, and the conditions are getting worse, but I just got an update on Rick Meyer. He's fine. He had an upset stomach a little bit yesterday. Bettis is absolutely fine. People were bewildered he wasn't playing earlier. Back to you, Tom.
Bettis is in there now, but only to block for Meyer, and he can't do the job as the Penn State defense collapses for its second sack of Meyer today.
Man-to-man defense that time in the secondary. Joe Paterno generally does not like to play man-to-man, but it works here. Able to put some pressure on Meyer. No one open down the field. That's a coverage sack.
And the redshirt freshman Eric Clare out of Elizabethtown, Pennsylvania, gets credit for the sack. Dawson and Griggs, wide receivers. Brooks and Bettis in the backfield. Pitch to Brooks. Brooks had a head of steam going, got back the yardage lost and then some before he's tackled by Willie Smith. Smith, a sophomore from Fort Pierce, Florida, getting in the lineup today in place of the regular Brett Wright, having a big game so far.
Interesting call now for Lou Holtz. 3rd down and about 7 or 8. With these kind of weather conditions, you don't want to turn the football over. We'll see if he puts it in the air.
Derek Mays brought into play at a wide receiver spot. Brooks has carried 5 times, 18 yards. Myers' pass intended for Mays, but too high, and good coverage as well by Derek Bonner of Penn State. And Notre Dame will have to punt.
The field conditions are getting much worse right now. I watched the wide receivers running their routes down the field. They were all very tentative. They were slipping, they were sliding, and what Penn State is doing, a nice move by Joe Paterno. They've gone to a man-to-man coverage now, and that is putting more pressure on those wide receivers to have to make some quicker moves.
Hendrick will punt. And the always dangerous O.J. McDuffie deep for Penn State. Sailing punt and a high one. Good hang time for Hendrick, and all McDuffie can do is call for a fair catch. He makes it at about the 36-yard line. That was a 41-yard punt through the snow. Penn State still leads.
The available anti-lock brakes on the new Geo Prism can help you negotiate driving hazards during hard braking. And every new Prism comes with a driver's side airbag, which we'd also be happy to demonstrate. But you've seen all that before. Besides, why ruin such a beautiful car? Get to know the newest Geo Prism, at your Chevrolet Geo dealers.
constant change, there is one certainty: the financial strength of the Prudential, rock solid in securities, insurance, and real estate.
Think all camcorders are the same? Look again. 2 lenses. Introducing the Sharp Twin Slim Cam, the world's only VHS camcorder with 2 built-in lenses. It shoots normal and new super wide. It has an instant zoom and Sharp's exclusive picture-in-picture. All on regular VHS tapes that play in your VCR. So take a second look. 2 lenses in the Sharp Twin Slim Cam, the world's smallest, lightest full-size VHS camcorder. The Sharp Twin Slim Cam.
Notre Dame football is brought to you by the Heartbeat of America, Chevrolet, and your local Chevy dealer. By Sharp Electronics Corporation. From sharp minds come sharp products. By McDonald's. What you want is what you get. Guaranteed at McDonald's today. And by the Canon CJ10 full-color copier printer scanner. Now the power of color is yours.
Back at Notre Dame Stadium, there's a guy that missed his fly south cue. Even the Ducks are wrapped up today. Penn State holding a 6-3 lead. Just over 13 minutes left in the opening half. Nittany Lions with the football. Anderson, not much, couple of yards. Well, a slick field, Chris, they say favors the receivers because they know where they're going. The defensive backs don't. Do you buy that?
Yeah, I do. And it also slows down the pass rush because they can't get quite the footing that you would ordinarily get. And it hurts the offensive team as far as the run blocking because once those offensive linemen begin to get engaged, they don't have the traction to push off like they once would. So believe it or not, this may become a passing game.
A lot of black shoes on the field today. Both these teams wearing basic black. In fact, basic uniforms, no frills, just tough football. Play action pass. Pressure. There's a screen set up, and Anderson can't hold it.
I don't know if we can see this again or not, but I mean to tell you that they have that screen pass set up. That's the second time that Kerry Collins has missed a wide open receiver. Watch Richie Anderson just pop out. Take a look. Blockers in front and nobody on that entire third of the field for Notre Dame. A break for the Irish.
Brian Hamilton head up ahead of steam, putting the pressure on Collins, who's hit only 1 of his first 7. Collins steps away from the rush and heaves it downfield. And O.J. can't handle it. McDuffie broke inside, leaving the defender behind, and then could not hold on to the football.
That's the kind of play that you expect O.J. McDuffie to make. He's working one-on-one on Greg Lang. Greg Lang falls down. Nobody else left around, and McDuffie cannot believe that he blew that opportunity. Last year, he had 143 yards and 3 touchdowns versus Notre Dame.
Joe Paterno told us McDuffie, the finest player he's been around in his 42 years as assistant or head coach at Penn State. Before the punt is away, the whistle blows.
Notre Dame had to take a timeout. They had too many men on the field.
It is the second Notre Dame timeout called here in the first half. Gives us a chance to get another college football update. Let's go back to New York and Jim Lampley. Jim?
All right, Tom, let's take you to Raleigh, North Carolina, where North Carolina State's trying to nail down a Gator Bowl berth and second in the ACC. Damian Covington, after Duke had crept to within 21-14, picks it off and goes 28 yards for the touchdown. 5th defensive touchdown of the year for NC State. They stretch the lead back to 28-14 over Duke. Back to you and Chris.
All right, 6-3 here. Penn State with the lead, 12-10 left.
Well, Florida State found out that ACC is a little tougher than some expected.
Tough, but still the Seminoles in a customary spot, right in the top 10 and headed for a New Year's Day Bowl.
Penn State, they know where they're going as far as the bowl picture is concerned. Be headed for the Blockbuster Bowl, assured that with their 6th win. Notre Dame has assured themselves a spot on a New Year's Day Bowl, one of the major ones there, just a question of which one.
One of the coalition bowls. Reese's punt will bounce. and go out of bounds. Let's see, that is what, about the 27-yard line? It's getting a little difficult to tell.
Your guess is as good as mine.
We'll be back.
The affordable Canon CJ10. The power of color is yours.
These cars seem pretty much the same. But the more you get to know Chevy Lumina Euro, the more you realize you get more car for your money. Like a bigger standard engine, standard anti-lock brakes, air conditioning, and more room. Lumina even has a higher resale value than Taurus. More car for your money when you buy it, more money for your car when you sell it. What else would you expect from the heartbeat of America?
There's only one way I know how to drive. Straight.
If you've been drinking, pick someone else to do the driving. A message from Budweiser.
In the Notre Dame tradition of excellence, a tribute to legendary athletic accomplishment, the athletic department of the University of Notre Dame is proud to add to its exclusive sportswear collection, the Notre Dame cap by Reebok. This is the new cap worn by Irish head coach Lou Holtz and is only available now through this special TV offer. Call 1-800-345-5027 today to ensure delivery by Christmas. Have your Visa or MasterCard ready.
The Oilers looking to bounce back. The Vikings, NFC Central leaders, mayhem in the Metrodome Sunday.
Get out the blankets and the mittens and the stocking caps, but nothing can keep the Irish faithful from coming to the final home game of the season. There's a new low in
Balloon Head.
Notre Dame, first down, pitch to Brooks. Couple blockers in front as he gets to the outside. Brooks with a stiff arm, knocked out of bounds at the 45-yard line. First down run of 17 yards.
The mailman, neither rain nor sleet nor snow shall slow down Reggie Brooks. He looks to be the most comfortable of everybody on the field as far as handling this turf. I don't know if he has some longer cleats in or exactly what the story is. Everyone else very tentative with their footing, but not Reggie Brooks.
Reggie Brooks has the chance to set the all-time Notre Dame record for one season yards per carry set by the legendary George Gipp back in 1920. 8.3 yards per carry, Gipp's record 8.1. That won't help any as he's tripped up after a yard gain by Brian Gelheiser.
This game will be reduced to Reggie Brooks and Jerome Bettis and Irv Smith. Irv Smith has played well. The short ball control type of passes are the ones that you look for now. May want to try and get Smith back involved in the game plan.
Jerome Bettis back in the game as Brooks lines up on a wing. Bettis right behind Meyer. Brooks back at the tail, audible. Penn gives to him. Broke one tackle and then taken down. Pretty play. Shelly Hammond's got in there to stop Brooks after he had evaded the first man.
One great tradition that they have at Penn State is having the ability to tackle. That time Shelly Hammond's coming up out of the secondary and making the play. Always very good tacklers, very hard hitters in the secondary for Penn State. You can remember a few years back in the Fiesta Bowl, the job that they did against the Miami Hurricanes receivers.
And of course known far and wide for their great linebackers, linebacker U. Meyer chased and dropped. Big loss on the play. Third sack of the day for the Nittany Lion defense. Eric Clare and Phil Yaboa Cody getting Meyer for a big loss, and Notre Dame will punt.
Eric Clare, number 89, and Rick Meyer may be hurt. Looks like he's limping off possibly an ankle. But Eric Clare was a surprise starter today. Rich McKenzie has more sacks than any other player on this team, and he is on the bench evidently for this one as Eric Clare gets a chance to start. Yeah, Joe Paterno talked about evaluating the personnel. Maybe that was one of the positions he decided to make a change.
It's worked out so far. McDuffie slips and can't field Hendrick's punt. It'll roll inside the 20 down to the 17-yard line. 53 yards counting the roll, and Penn State backed up. McDuffie and Meyer, 6'3", Nittany Lions.
All right, a great man once said, winning, gentlemen, isn't everything. It's the only thing.
Look, a grasshopper!
I formation, 34 sweep on 2. Got it? Just give the ball to Matt. Tell him to run towards Daddy. Got it?
It starts every September with teams like the Turkey Creek Hawks, the Bronx Eagles, and the Newport Richie Giants. On fields where dads aren't only coaches, and oak trees mark the end zones. And a good day isn't determined by if you win or lose, but where you go after the game. So McDonald's would like to salute the players, the coaches, the families, everyone who'll help make this season a perfect season.
Can we go to McDonald's now, Coach?
After the game, Lenny. This is only halftime. Now go sit down.
Before you buy a new truck, think about the day you'll sell it.
Stood there boldly, sweating in the sun. Felt like a million, felt like #1, like a round.
Chevy trucks, for the highest resale value of any trucks in the business.
Like a round.
Chevrolet, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road.
Christmas is about families, and so is this computer, the Tandy 2500 RSX from Radio Shack. For the incredible price of $799.95, you get a 386SX 25 megahertz processor with 24 built-in programs for budgeting, word processing, and home education, with the power to run PC-compatible software, made in America by American families. Christmas, families, and the Tandy 2500 RSX, they go together. From Radio Shack, your Christmas electronics store.
A machinist, a real estate broker, an insurance agent, a local legend. 4 men who had their NBA dreams unfulfilled today get their chance. 3-on-3 versus Dr. J's team of NBA greats. George Gervin, Michael Cooper, Calvin Murphy, and Walter Davis on the Court of Dreams in the Hoop It Up Finals today.
Notre Dame quarterback Rick Meyer, wearing the jacket on the left, was a bit gimpy as he left the field after that last series, but apparently is all right and ready to return to the game the next time Notre Dame has the ball.
Penn State, the last 2 drives, 3 plays and a punt.
Anderson tried to change direction, and that was his undoing. The defense collapsed on him at that point for a loss on the play. Let's go to Jim Lampley for another update from New York.
And we take you to College Park, Maryland, where the Terrapins are trying to upset Clemson. Fumble-Rooski play. Ball is left on the ground for 5th-year senior guard Ron Stapolino, and he has a lineman's dream. An 11-yard touchdown run. Maryland leads Clemson 27-12. Tigers in danger of being bowl ineligible if they lose.
2 teams headed for bowls, squaring off in the snow of South Bend. Anderson, can he get the corner? No. DeBose took him down right at the line of scrimmage. Demetrius DeBose, one of those seniors overcome by emotion at the pep rally last night, the tears flowing freely from the All-American linebacker.
Very athletic, very agile. Seems to be doing a good job with his footing. Jumped outside. Well, there's just no substitute for speed. The Miami Hurricanes have won so many national championships in the past decade based purely on speed.
There's the season DeBose has had, despite sitting out the first 2 games under NCAA suspension. Scramble by Collins. He coughs up the football. And DeBose can't hold on. Still loose. Notre Dame's ball.
are horrible. The ball's hard to hold on to. You got to put it away there. You cannot give the defense a chance to strip you and back your defense up against the wall. Punt it back down the field. You got a 6-3 lead. You see the mad scramble going on, but again, Kerry Collins with a huge mistake.
And Brian Radigan, the man that eventually collared that elusive pigskin. First down Notre Dame from the 14 of the Nittany Lions. Brooks has made a season of that spin move, but a little tough to do in these conditions. Derek Bana made the stop for Penn State as Collins talks over that fumbled turnover.
And interesting now, Jeff Burris coming in the game. Looks like Notre Dame is going to go to the full house backfield, just as if this were a 3rd and short, 3rd and goal situation. Try and get a little extra punch in the backfield.
Images of old-time Notre Dame football in the snow of the stadium. Full house T backfield. Bettis, first carry of the day. Bana again makes the tackle on big Jerome Bettis. John Dockery, how is Bettis?
You know what? He's wearing this brace, as we talked about last week. He's tightly taped on that left ankle, which he hurt. And you know, my feeling is the weather. He limped off a little bit after the last series, and I think the weather is so cold that it makes muscles feel tighter. He talked about it yesterday, and he didn't have a chance to get warmed up very much. He didn't play in the first quarter. So I think Jerome Bettis is a little bit tentative, and the cold weather has made him a little bit tighter, and the injury a little bit worse.
And Reggie Brooks just came off, limping a bit. Bettis, Lytle, and Burris in the backfield. Bettis to the line of scrimmage.
Decision time now for Lou Holtz. Almost have to go for it with that kind of an angle and with the goalposts reduced the way they are. No reason to try for the field goal. Great short yardage team. Remember, coming into the game, 16 for 18, 3rd and 2 yards or less. Here it's a 4th down.
Meyer still has it. Incomplete. Irv Smith made a diving attempt. And Notre Dame does not convert on the 4th down attempt. They went for it all. They went for the touchdown to the tight end, Irv Smith. And the ball will go over to Penn State.
A bold call by Lou Holtz on 4th down and 1 with the full house backfield. He got exactly what he wanted. Irv Smith simply not able to hold on to the football.
And Chris, a key might have been the way they held up Smith at the line of scrimmage. He didn't get a clean break off the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and did you see Holtz there say, big guy, don't worry about it. You're going to get plenty more chances, and he will. In a game like this, the tight end is going to be instrumental.
Now for Penn State, they averted the Notre Dame score, but they're backed up to their own 5. Straight ahead with O'Neal.
The good news for Penn State is they're in an area of the field, as you see Smith. He wants to make the big plays in the passing game. He knows those pro scouts are watching, wants to try and prove it. But he's talking about Penn State. They get a break in that this is the same area, the same hash mark, if you will, that Notre Dame operated from. So there is a bit of a cleared off area from which to work.
Good overview of the field in these conditions. We're expecting as much as 2 inches of snow before we're finished. Anderson hit at the line of scrimmage. Center of the Notre Dame defense responding to the call, the handoff to Richie Anderson.
Penn State is going to have to open it up a little bit on some early downs. They want to come out 1-2, run it on 1st and 2nd down. Well, Notre Dame's defense has figured that out as well. This would be the 3rd time in a row that they had not, or the 4th time in a row they don't pick up a 1st down if they don't get one here.
Anderson has carried 10 times for only 21 yards. Again, up the middle with Anderson. Better game, but not enough for a 1st down, and Penn State will have to punt from their own territory.
But that's not a problem. See, if you're Joe Paterno, you take a punt here based on what Kerry Collins did last time around. You don't want to risk putting the ball in his hands back in the pocket.
Number 70 is Bob Say, who was a manager on this team, and now the long snapper for Penn State. And the punt will go out of bounds in Notre Dame territory, about the 46-yard line. Notre Dame will take over there after a 39-yard punt. In the snow, 6'3", Nittany Lions.
The more you take away from this Chevy Cavalier VL, the more it resembles the Honda Civic DX. Take away Cavalier's anti-lock brakes, base coat clear coat paint. Take away its two-sided galvanized steel, automatic door locks, Scotchgard treated seats, and toll-free 24-hour roadside assistance. But there's at least one thing you'd have to add. $1,500. The Chevy Cavalier. What else would you expect from the heartbeat of America?
Our team project was tough. The deadline was tougher.
Only one digital color printer prints in black and white and color at the same time to save time. Intelligent color for any document, only from Xerox.
Putting it together.
Our spring fashions are terrific. Now let's get them noticed.
Highlight your news with Xerox color and you'll get everyone's attention faster. Intelligent color for any document, only from Xerox.
Putting it together.
The Black & Decker Air Station. It has all the pressure you need to inflate anything, fast. The Black & Decker Air Station, always at your service.
The more income your investments earn, the more taxes are taken out. But with Nuveen tax-free investments, the more you earn, the more you keep. Ask your financial advisor about Nuveen tax-free investments, or simply call this number.
Witness 25 years in 25 seconds.
I'm not going to answer any more of these questions.
I'm selling my book.
It's a wonder I didn't kill myself.
It's a good thing I was born a woman, or I'd have been a drag queen.
We really are identical twin brothers.
It's disgusting. Oh, Phil.
Well, all right, Pilgrim.
Are you going to leave the Tonight Show?
Not in the foreseeable future.
I'm a misfit.
And what's your name?
Bill Donahue and NBC presents an all-star tribute to his 25 years of classic television.
And no one could be prouder.
Donahue's 25th on NBC Sunday.
Richie Anderson getting some help digging the sod out of his helmet. Here on the off track, it has been a defensive struggle. Penn State 4 first downs, Notre Dame 7. Nittany Lions with the lead. Meyer on the option, pitch to Brooks. Penn State has it well defensed, but the tackle not made, and Brooks does get back to the line of scrimmage, maybe gained a yard. Penn State obviously was ready for it, but the slippery field, unable to make the tackle. There's an idea of how muddy and slippery it's become.
And that gets cold. You get that goo on your uniform, and it is definitely cold, but nice run that time. You know, every once in a while you'll see a great 2-yard run as you see the goo on the back of the jerseys. But that time Reggie Brooks was caught dead to rights in the backfield by Rich McKenzie, was able to get away and even pick up a couple of yards.
Meyer, dangerous pass. Mays wrestling for it. Who came up with it? Mays was fighting with Gelheiser, and Derek Mays comes up with the football.
That was one remarkable play. Brian Gelheiser, watch him. He catches it. This is an interception. And then the freshman, Derek Mays, simply rips it away from him.
From Indianapolis, Derek Mays. His parents have been to every game, home and away, since he was in the 2nd grade. They're here today in the snow of Notre Dame Stadium. Pettis stepped through a tackle, then wrestled down after he ripped off about 5 yards. Reggie Givens finally wrapped him up.
You got to think that Jerome Bettis likes these kind of conditions. He said that he used to play neighborhood football on a half asphalt, a half grass field. Said it was supposed to be tackle on the grass and touch on the asphalt, but sometimes that line got a little blurred like they are here today.
This could be the final home game for Bettis, too. He's only a junior, but some discussion that he might go hardship and join the NFL. Nice leap by Brooks to the outside. Knocked out of bounds.
He may have hurt his knee on the play. There's so many cameras, so much equipment down there, it's possible that when he came down, that he may have landed on something. Well, I tell you, this is just a remarkable back. What? Just tremendous heart, tremendous courage, tremendous talent. Tries to get one more yard. Tough to see there.
Brooks has carried now 11 times, 56 yards. Bettis, not much there. There's Brooks. With his right knee they're examining.
That really puts a tremendous burden on Jerome Bettis when he's out of the game. We've seen it several times this year. They've tried to hold Reggie Brooks out of a game as they see if there's any damage done to that knee, but Jerome Bettis not nearly as effective a back when Reggie Brooks is not in the ballgame.
Becton is the tailback replacing Brooks. His way straight ahead. Gibbons finally got him down with help from Bonner.
Is it like clockwork when I make a statement like that? That the very next play, the guy will rip off one for about 8 or 9? As I was saying, Jerome Bettis a much better back than when Reggie Brooks is in there with him.
Well, Brooks is back. Shook off what was apparently a banged up knee and is right back to assume the tailback spot. Two tight ends, Smith and McBride. Brooks fighting his way forward, close to the first down. Looked like Penn State's defensive line jumped, but then got back. No flags down.
I'm really surprised. This is going to be close for the first down. It is a first down for Notre Dame as they move the chains. I was a little surprised that, especially on that 3rd and 3 situation, they go with the hard snap count. They got him to jump, and generally in that situation, Tim Ruddy would have the automatic to snap the ball and to get the penalty. He didn't take it. Now just 1:33 left in the half as Notre Dame tries to stick it in here.
8th play of the drive for the Irish. Bettis. Tackler's bouncing off him. He's down close, I think, to the 5-yard line. The yard marker's obscured by the snow. Gibbons made the tackle.
This is fullback weather. Jerome Bettis right up the middle. No cuts necessary. Good blocking by Aaron Taylor. He's a Lombardi Award finalist.
Brooks ran over his old man Bettis, who was stacked up at the line of scrimmage trying to block. And Notre Dame will use the timeout here.
Their final timeout.
Remember, the Irish had to take 2 defensive timeouts after mix-ups earlier in the half, so that was their 3rd and final with 48 seconds left.
Yeah, you've got a decision if you're Lou Holtz here. You've got the ball in the middle of the field. Given the horrible conditions on the field, you want to give Craig Hentrick his best chance to make a field goal if necessary, but at the same time, you don't want to limit your offense. Remember, the goalposts are in close now. They're the same distance as they use in the National Football League. They used to be much wider in college football. So do you run a dive or something up the middle and try and maintain that middle of the field position, or you just give it your best shot? 3rd and it says 4, but it looks a lot longer than that. It looks like about 6 or 7. A very long 4.
It's hard to tell under these conditions. Joe Paterno did have his team ready to play, and obviously helped by the inclement conditions, holding off that high-powered effectiveness of the Notre Dame offense, which leads college football in total yards and averages 41 points a game. 3rd down. Got away from one man, and then the pursuit gets him, and that's the 4th time they've taken Meyer down today. And now, no choice, they will kick for the tie.
Tioka Jackson making a tremendous play. No timeouts left, so they have to get on the field, snap the ball. They have plenty of time, 23 seconds. But again, because Rick Myers scrambled, they have the tough angle.
32-yard Hendrick field goal attempt. And it's good. Craig Hendrick from 32 yards, despite the slippery field, boots it through the uprights, and we're tied at 6 apiece.
Good job by Craig Hendrick to maintain his concentration. His footing held true. He stuck it in the left upright. That's a big moment for Notre Dame. They did not want to go in down at halftime because you don't know what these conditions are going to be in the second half.
Joe Paterno's Nittany Lions missing, or not missing, but having their extra point blocked. And so it's 6-6 with 9 seconds left in the opening half. There's Hendrick, the all-time leading Notre Dame kicker. Second overall scoring to Alan Pinkett in Notre Dame football history. That was his second field goal of the day and his 8th of the season.
But that was a nice drive by Notre Dame under these conditions. It should give them a confidence boost going into the second half that, yes, they can move the football despite the snow.
Stay with us at halftime. Jim Lampley will update you on all the scores and highlights of this day in college football. We'll get a break from the snow and stay with us at the half. Back in the warm studios of New York City, Jim Lampley with the scores and highlights.
And the flip side of that is that Penn State goes in with very little momentum. Only 7 yards and 0 first downs in the second quarter of this game.
Hendrick will just squib kick it. Finally comes to McDuffie anyway. And McDuffie will be wrestled down. 2 seconds showing on the clock.
Take the ball, fall on it, go in at halftime. Nothing wrong with being 6-6 at the half for Penn State. They came in a heavy underdog. Defensively, they've done a very nice job. Offensively, if they can just stay away from the big mistakes and hope that eventually their defense comes up with a turnover and gives them some good field position.
So it's the final play of the half coming up, barring a defensive penalty. And as you advised, Collins just downs it. So the offensive fireworks held in check by the inclement weather at Notre Dame Stadium. And the first half will end in a 6-6 tie. Penn State scoring a touchdown, extra point blocked, 2 field goals Notre Dame. Let's go to John Dockery.
Yeah, Coach, a bold call on 4th and 1 there. Did the weather have anything to do with it?
No, not at all. We thought we had the guy open. We did have him open. Just that we thought our defense would stop him. We'd get the ball back. We'd have a chance to kick a field goal the next play, which we did.
The condition of Bettis, is he all right?
Well, he's not 100%, but it's the condition of the field that bothers me the most.
Thank you, Coach.
So Notre Dame getting a 32-yard field goal from Craig Hendrick in the final seconds of the first half to tie the game 6-6 in a snowstorm at South Bend. That's the halftime score, all even at 6. Let's go to Jim Lampley. At halftime, Penn State and Notre Dame. And John Dockery is right now with Coach Joe Paterno of the Nittany Lions.
Coach, Joe, you got a second? Just wanted to, what did you say to the team at halftime?
Well, we're playing hard. We got to play a little better the second half. Hang on the ball, make it. We didn't throw the ball, consistently enough against the club that's playing as well as that. We got to throw a little better second half. Just a little bit more effort. I think we'll be okay.
How do the weather conditions affect you?
There's a lot of slipping. I guess it affects both sides. They do a little better job at the running game than we are with the footing, but we'll be all right.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay.
All right, the doc always comes through as Penn State onto the field. The snow has let up a little bit. They've had the Zambonis or something out to clear off some of the yard markers. It's a little better on the field, although it's probably still slippery. Well, the weather outside is frightful. The booth is so delightful. The weather conditions, obviously, the most important factor in that first half. Notre Dame did have a big play, though, on 4th and 1 as they went for it close to the Penn State goal line. They had to turn the ball over, not converting.
Yeah, a bit of a surprise. Lou Holtz, with the great power football game that he did, he had the full house backfield in and had a chance to complete it to Irv Smith. They go with the play action pass. And look at the play here. They really have Penn State outflanked. They've got people outside here. They're going to run the play action this way, Rick Meyer, and then Irv Smith is going to try and sneak to the back of the end zone and make a play. Everything works perfectly. They get the good play action. Rick Meyer does a nice job of scrambling. Now it's just up to Irv Smith to make a big play, and couldn't get it done. You'll see in the replay that he had every single opportunity to make the catch. He had a little bit of trouble, a little bit too much traffic to get through, but there's a play that you would expect Irv Smith to make.
Well, so the weather did play a big factor in that game. I couldn't even tell if you were drawing or that was snow on the field on the telestrator. But let's take a look at the first half statistics, and the weather obviously holding down the offensive production of both teams. Only 4 first downs for Penn State, 39 rushing yards, 89 for the Irish. And total yards, 164 Notre Dame, only 85 for Penn State. Turnovers, 2 apiece, and obviously turnovers could play a big factor in who wins this game.
Well, the biggest thing for Penn State is they simply cannot put themselves in a position to give up the cheap score to Notre Dame. So they'll have to do a much better job of hanging on to the football than they did the first half.
How do you adjust your game plan now, knowing the conditions for the second half?
Well, you just have to be patient out there on the field and understand that there's nothing wrong with a punt. You know, take the ball, do the best job that you can, and then punt it away and hope that you're the first one to get a break, because the next one on the board more than likely will win this football game.
Penn State deferred their decision after winning the opening coin toss, and they will have the ball first to open the second half as the Irish gather in the tunnel opposite the end zone here at Notre Dame Stadium. And again, we point out the final home appearance for 20 scholarship seniors on this Notre Dame team. And as you can see, the snow has let up somewhat. The field, at least, is not as snowy as it was. It's still going to be pretty wet and still will be pretty slippery, huh?
Yeah, but really Penn State's or Notre Dame's defense has been the story. In the second quarter, they really took over. On the last 5 drives that Penn State has had, they have not had a single first down.
And to the cheers of the sellout crowd, the Irish back onto the field. Rick Meyer, the Notre Dame quarterback, shaken up a time or two. He's already been sacked 4 times. And there's Meyer loosening up. 6 of 10 on the day for 75 yards. He had 1 picked off.
He's doing a good job. Seems to be handling the football fine. They were successful going to Irv Smith early. Of course, Irv had a chance to make the great play in the end zone. But the short ball control type of passes, don't forget Jerome Bettis, a great receiver coming out of the backfield, averaging almost 17 yards a catch. They may try to work it to him some in the second half.
Kerry Collins, Meyer's Penn State counterpart, has not had a good day. Only 1 of 8, although that one, 46 yards to Thomas, set up the Penn State touchdown. There's thunder and lightning. Bettis and Brooks back on the field a little tardily, getting some extra treatment, no doubt, for the dings and bruises they've had both coming into the game and during the first half.
But the good news for Notre Dame fans is they both appear to be okay as they jogged out of the tunnel.
Hendrick will kick off for Notre Dame. Short kick and fumble. And back to the 30-yard line where Penn State will take over after McDuffie went back to get the football and takes it to the 30. Let's go to John Dockery.
You know, Tom, there hasn't been any dramatic equipment changes down here. Sometimes you think that players will change to longer cleats, but really they haven't. They're just using more of the equipment kind of thing like this to wipe off their cleats. You see a lot of the players doing that to get the mud out of it. And the weather conditions, as you can see, are slightly better. So no big equipment changes here at the half. Back to you, Tom.
All right, John. Opening possession of the second half. Anderson. You saw when he tried to cut upfield after getting to the outside. The footing just wasn't there. He sort of slid around, couldn't make a sharp cut, and the defense catches up to him.
Penn State has really tried to run into the boundary today, to the short side of the field. Of course, in the professional game, the hash marks are much closer to the center of the field, but in college, there's a short side and a wide side. And given the conditions of the field and how slippery it is, it seems like Joe Paterno would want to come to the wide side a little more often to give his back some maneuverability.
Collins throws it wide open underneath to O'Neal, and O'Neal gets about 10 or 11 yards before Demetrius DeBose takes him down.
Brian O'Neal's a good story. He's Mike Mathis, an NBA referee, is his father. He was adopted by a white family. Mike Mathis, of course, his father, and just awfully proud of that young man, Brian O'Neal.
Former Cincinnati High School Athlete of the Year from Purcell High School.
They announced the score here, and the place went crazy. I didn't hear which score it was.
Probably Illinois leading Michigan. Would be a safe guess.
Should have known.
Illinois, I think, is on top. 22-19 is the report we get.
But a key moment for Penn State's offense to come right out and pick up a first down after they had struggled so much in the second quarter.
Anderson, no gain on that first down play. The late handoff to Anderson. Again, plowing straight ahead for only a yard. Anthony Peterson latched on to him early with Jim Flanagan there, too. Peterson is from Pennsylvania, from Monongahela. We asked him if Penn State recruited him, and he said yes, but he really wasn't interested. In fact, his mom didn't like them, so he never even visited. He is from Pennsylvania, but he went to the same high school as Joe Montana, so he has Notre Dame ties right from the outset.
Said in that high school they've got plaques and trophies and memorabilia and everything you can think of related to Joe Montana. Notre Dame with their nickel defense in. Here's the flex tight end.
Creighton flexes wide right in the slot. Collins threw it as he was going down, and it was swiped away by Devon McDonald.
Devon McDonald has been putting pressure on the quarterback all season long. Leads this team in quarterback sacks. You see, he goes with the inside move and gets all over Kerry Collins. Once again, give Devon McDonald credit. 11 tackles for losses so far on the season for McDonald.
And Peterson, not known for his pass coverage, made a good play on the underneath coverage. Penn State's first possession of the half results in a punt taken by Miller on a fair catch at about the 16-yard line. 41-yard Penn State punt. Notre Dame's first possession of the half coming up when we return.
July 1992. Oldsmobile redefines quality. The Oldsmobile Achieva went head-to-head against Honda Accord and Toyota Camry in a 100,000-mile real-world test. The independent test results prove Achieva beat them both with lower total cost, which consists of maintenance, repair, and operating costs. Quality has been redefined by Achieva and the company that went far enough to prove it. Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering.
This is Grand Central Station, crossroads of the world, and this is the Pitney Bowes 9070 copier. What we're doing is letting people make free copies on a machine that has in excess of 1 million copies.
This is my best friend. I want to make a copy.
I know you want to make a copy. Come on over.
What do I do? Do I lift this up? Voila.
We're still here. It's a little warm, and the machine is still pumping out cool, crisp copies. We've run 1,013,643 copies and had a little gum on the plant glass, but I scraped that off, and the machine is working great.
Presenting the RCA 52-inch projection screen home theater. It's bigger and brighter than almost anything out there.
Notre Dame football is brought to you by Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering. By Pitney Bowes Copier Systems. By the 25th Anniversary Diamond, a brilliant celebration of the loving marriage. And by O'Doul's, from the makers of Budweiser, refreshing beer taste without the alcohol.
Only a few flakes of snow falling now, but some residue on the field, as you can see. Notre Dame with a ball and a first down and a 6-6 tie. Brooks. First free for a moment, carrying tacklers for 2 or 3 yards. Let's go to John Dockery.
You know, Tom, we look at the linebackers on Penn State, and Joe Paterno was saying that Reggie Gibbons is as good as any linebacker he's ever had. And that's a shocking statement when you can think of some of the guys that he's had, the Jack Hams, the Dennis Onconces, the Greg Buttles, and the Shane Conlins. And he's kind of hybrid, number 58 is, because he's half defensive back, half linebacker. I'll pick it up after this.
All right. This is a Brooks run as he slides. If they get him to slide, he'll add another yard or so onto it, just short of the 20. Doc?
Yeah, Tom, you know, it's just it's funny because everybody that ever goes to Penn State is obviously considered for the linebacker position because of Joe's fondness for that, and he considers the linebacker spot to be the one that's most critical. Remember when they were talking about Jerome Bettis, and he was considering Penn State, and they mentioned the word linebacker? It was over. That was it. He didn't even consider it after that.
All he added was the promise from Holtz that he'd be able to tape his shoes, and that cinched it for Notre Dame. Meyer made a little move, knocked out of bounds, but short of the first down.
Rick Meyer just could not find anyone open. There you see Reggie Gibbons, and Joe Paterno has compared Reggie Gibbons to Jack Ham. Now that is one heck of a comparison. The great Hall of Fame linebacker of the Pittsburgh Steelers. There you see him making the play. And Notre Dame will have to punt.
You mentioned Bettis taping his shoes. That was one of his conditions for coming to Notre Dame, and Coach Holtz normally wouldn't allow that. You notice how many Notre Dame players are allowed to tape their shoes these days? Quite a few. Bettis said he didn't mind losing his distinction. Try to draw him off sides. Sailing kick, McDuffie with a fair catch at the 43-yard line. Only 33 yards off the foot of Hentrick that time. So both teams punt on their first possession of the second half, and we're still deadlocked at 6 apiece with 11:08 now remaining in the third quarter from Notre Dame Stadium.
Well, we're still at Grand Central Station. We got them lined up, and the Pitney Bowes copier is just pumping them out like a percolator.
My whole world is in this little book.
We've got all kinds of people coming up with all types of copies.
Credit cards.
Make enlargements.
My certification as a skydiver.
This is a conference on self.
Hey, handsome, how you doing?
Secrets.
Thank you.
I'm a therapist, and I've come across a lot of women who have
1,037,421 copies. The Pitney Bowes machine is still up and running, and it's running, well, it's running just like a machine.
A company that does this much business can only be headed in one direction. Forward.
Yo, guys, this is Yogi.
You can't top the Pringles pop. The taste is top.
Pringles? I haven't tried them in years.
Pringles taste better than these bag chips. Check it out, yo.
I'll believe it when I believe it.
So?
I believe it. They taste better.
Yeah. Observe. Bag chips feel greasy.
Grease don't taste good. Taste tastes good.
Yeah!
Once you pop, you can't stop.
Just try Black & Decker's Power Driver with torque control. You'll notice one major difference, the clutch. The higher the setting, the more powerful it gets. Power Driver and Power Driver with torque control from Black & Decker.
The more income your investments earn, the more taxes are taken out. But with Nuveen tax-free investments, the more you earn, the more you keep. Ask your financial advisor about Nuveen tax-free investments, or simply call this number.
A Dateline expose. Could you be driving a potential death trap?
I just sat there watching my youngest one burn.
Now, Dateline reveals some shocking answers. Plus, sex and your kids. How's it affecting your child, and what can you do about it? A Dateline every parent must see Tuesday.
Welcome back to Notre Dame. You see that score at Michigan at Ann Arbor. The Wolverines trailing Illinois 22-19. Less than a minute remaining now, but Michigan has the ball inside the Illinois 20. We'll let you know when the game is a final. Collins going deep, overshooting his intended receiver, Grebe, who was wide open across the middle.
That's the third time today that Collins has missed wide open wide receivers with a chance to make a big play. And, you know, perhaps now Collins 2 for 11, only 56 yards. Had his man wide open down the field again, and everything has been long. They haven't been short. Everything has been long for Kerry Collins, and he knows it.
Draw play, Anderson. No, excuse me, O'Neal. And O'Neal, 3 yards, tackled by Brian Young.
The team perhaps most excited about that Michigan score, though, is Texas A&M, because that would move them ahead of Michigan in the polls to the number 3 spot, so that if Alabama should lose in the SEC championship game, or perhaps even tonight in Starkville, Mississippi against Mississippi State, that would give them a chance to force Miami to come to the Cotton Bowl.
Collins under pressure. Almost intercepted by Burris. Brian Radigan was bearing down on Kerry Collins. He had to let it fly. Intended for Troy Drayton, who's been blanked today. And Penn State will have to punt.
Radigan getting the pressure, and Jeff Burris almost making the interception. Again, no first downs on that drive for Penn State, but they're winning the battle of field position here. They have the ball in the 46. If they can get another good punt, back up Notre Dame, force them to go the distance, make them go 80, 85 yards to beat you.
There's the 5th part of the day, bouncing and down at the 25-yard line where Notre Dame will take over. 29-yard punt only that time. And how's the field holding up? It stopped snowing for the moment. John Dockery.
You know, Tom, it's a lot kinder and gentler down here. You can see even some of the snow is beginning to melt. And moments ago, the sun came out. So the wind has died down. Conditions are far better than they were. And that certainly would help Notre Dame. Back to you, Tom.
It's a little soggy, though, Doc. Is it still slippery, even though the snow is melting a bit?
It is soggy, and there's a little bit of spots along the way. It's mushy. There's a little bit of mud underneath the grass, but conditions are a lot better, especially in terms of wind.
Brooks spins for a couple. This field has a tendency to get slick anyway, as Chris Caesar makes the stop for Penn State. Brooks now has toted the ball 16 times and gained 64 yards.
Notre Dame staying with the running game on first down. They want to try and reestablish it. Reggie Brooks, Jerome Bettis. Maybe they'll come back with the play-action pass here on 2nd and 9.
Inside the 10-minute mark in the 3rd quarter, still tied, no scoring in the 2nd half. Penn State, remember, has beaten Notre Dame 2 straight times.
Audible by Myron.
Quick pass to Griggs, and it's ruled incomplete. Griggs thought he caught it. It was only a gain of 2 yards anyway. That's not really worth the argument.
Well, the official that made the call on the sideline had no way of seeing this. He was completely blocked by Griggs, and that was an incomplete pass. Nice call by the officials.
Might have had a better look at it than you thought.
Well, that could be.
Myers only hit 1 of his last 5 passes. For the day, he's 6 of 11 for 75 yards.
Ray Griggs says that his strength is blocking. He says if I spring Reggie Brooks on a long run, that's every bit as important as Reggie Brooks himself.
He's in the slot now left. Floats it to Dawson. Wrestled back. If he gets his forward progress, he's going to be about a half yard short of the first down, I think. Shelly Hammonds threw him back. Let's see where they spot it. No, it will be enough for a first down. A pretty generous spot there.
That's a nice play by Lake Dawson. Finding a hole in the zone defense. He stayed on the move. Rick Meyer finally found him, and he leaned back up the field with the ball.
A very generous spot.
Yes.
Straight ahead, Bettis Michigan, we understand, at Ann Arbor is attempting a field goal which would tie Illinois, and it's good. So Illinois and Michigan tied 22-22. That would be the second tie of the year for Michigan. Their first game of the season, of course, was a tie here at Notre Dame. 19 seconds left, 22-22. As you pointed out, that likely is going to put Michigan behind Texas A&M in the polls. The Aggies unbeaten. Bettis across midfield, 9 yards and a Notre Dame first down with Reggie Gibbons hanging on for dear life.
Watch Gibbons come from his linebacker position, number 58, to make the play. He's just out in the middle of the field. As John told you earlier, he's sort of a part backer, part defensive back. It's the same position that Shane Conlon played when he was here at Penn State.
Bettis has carried 8 times, 38 yards. He's replaced by Dean Lytle. Brooks can't spin away that time. Wrapped up, and the man that hit him first was once again Reggie Gibbons. Gibbons, a former Virginia Prep High School Defensive Player of the Year, All-American.
Tom, they had a crackback block on there. Ray Griggs was supposed to crack back on Reggie Gibbons, and yet Brooks didn't take it far enough outside. He misread the play.
He was Defensive Player of the Fiesta Bowl win over Tennessee last year.
Maybe he had a fumble recovery return for a touchdown in that one.
And he also was a triple jumper in high school. Short hopped by Gerald. That looked like a busted play from the outset, and it goes incomplete.
Lou Benfatti, they're Penn State's most consistent defensive players. You see Rick trying to shake a few snowballs out of that helmet. But Benfatti has definitely been their most consistent player, very smart, never out of position. He's an All-American candidate. Had an interception as a defensive lineman last year against Rick Meyer, the first of his career.
3rd and long for the Irish. Wide open Dawson. Notre Dame's #1 receiver for 30 yards.
Joe Paterno says that his teams prefer to play a zone defense. That time they were burned by the zone. They just don't feel comfortable in the man-to-man, and it's not because of the passing game. It's because of the option and the running game of Notre Dame.
First down play from the 22. Option. Meyer cuts up 2 or 3 yards before he's tackled. Let's go to Jim Lampley now in New York City for a college football update.
All right, Tom Hammond, and let's take a look at the whimper, not the bang, that concluded Michigan-Illinois. The Wolverines played for a tie, draw play on 3rd and 15, then the Elizovic field goal, longest of his career, that tied the game at 22 apiece, nailed down Michigan's Big Ten title and Rose Bowl berth, but in all probability knocks the Wolves out of the national championship picture. Back to Tom.
All right, Jim, here's Reggie Brooks. Corralled, surrounded, and taken down hard by Gibbons. Gibbons has really turned it on here in the 3rd quarter.
Well, we're beginning to see now why Joe Paterno thinks so highly of this young man. That was Todd Norman, who came out, threw a good block right at his knees, and Reggie Gibbons showed what a great athlete he is, just simply shielded that off and made the play.
Looking for double figures in tackles here in the game, and still in the 3rd quarter. Meyer hands it straight ahead to Bettis, and Bettis is hit at the line of scrimmage, wrestled down at the 20-yard line. Benfatti, Gibbons, everybody for Penn State ready for the handoff on 3rd and long to Jerome Bettis.
That was a good, strong tackle that time by Benfatti. He got his hands on the football, and that is the easiest way to bring down a back like Bettis, because they're always so concerned about a fumble, especially when you're here in the scoring zone anyway.
Hendrick, 37-yard field goal attempt to give Notre Dame the lead. And it's good. Kendrick with 3 field goals. Notre Dame 9-6.
Here comes Jim, in for a pit.
Jim, backyard's next.
Hey, no duels. Non-alcohol, 70 calories. Perfect. After all, the competition is pretty stiff out here.
When you want the refreshing taste of beer without the alcohol, think O'Doul's. It's what beer drinkers drink when they're not drinking beer.
Oh, he looked scarier 25 years ago.
Did I?
You looked scared.
I don't know. I thought I hit it well for an innocent girl.
You were innocent for the 60s.
Any regrets?
None. You?
Just one. What? That I waited 25 years to give you this.
The 25th anniversary diamond, a brilliant celebration of the loving marriage.
I've got goosebumps.
Well, you've given me goosebumps for 25 years.
When you compare Bravada's Smart Track to Explorer's four-wheel drive, it's easy to see who's in control of the situation and who's slipping up. Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering. Up a steep grade, under slippery conditions, the Oldsmobile Bravada can beat the Ford Explorer, even with one boat tied behind its back. Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering.
Everybody wants a battery that goes the distance, but you never know when they're about to run out of gas. Only Duracell has the Copper Top Battery Tester, so you can be sure your batteries will keep going down the road. You can't top the Copper Top.
The speedway sizzles. The action gets hotter as the nation's top dragsters burn up the tracks on the final event of the year, the NHRA Winston Finals, next Saturday. Craig Hendrick's third field goal gives Notre Dame a 9-6 lead. The Irish with a big edge in total yards, but only 3 points on the scoreboard. McDuffie takes the kick. Had a little seam to the outside for a moment, taken out of bounds at the 35-yard line by Rick Lozano. Some of the other scores, including that big upset, Illinois at Ann Arbor, knocking Michigan perhaps down in the rankings with a 22-22 tie.
And here's the story right now. Kerry Collins comes back in the game. They're down 9-6, still very much in this football game. You can't afford to have Kerry Collins make a big mistake now.
Penn State's longest play was their first yard from scrimmage, a 12-yard reverse to O.J. McDuffie. That's the longest running play. They had a 46-yard pass. Anderson, only 2 yards. Bursich and DuBose making the hit.
And they haven't been able to get the ball back in the hands of O.J. McDuffie really since that first play. Kerry Collins not having a great deal of success throwing the football. He's had it a couple of different times on punt returns, kickoff returns. But when you've got a star player like O.J. McDuffie, you have to find a way to get him the ball. Maybe a flanker screen, something like that.
And held without a catch today. Again, too high on his pass. Consistently too high and too long all afternoon. Anderson was the intended receiver there. He's only 2 of 13 is Kerry Collins.
They've had so many different quarterbacks playing the position this year. Tony Sacca had been the quarterback here for 35 straight games, graduated this last year. John Sacca's brother took over, started in the opener against Cincinnati. He got hurt. Wally Richardson came in, played some. But they really thought that Kerry Collins, before he broke his finger, was going to be the starter. He threw for 400 yards in the spring game last year.
And here he just heaves it as far as he can, hoping someone can get under it. And it's a Notre Dame man, but he's out of bounds. Tom Carter came down with the football. But he was out of bounds, so no interception, but Penn State will have to punt.
Tom Carter in absolutely perfect position to make the play again. Teams almost now are avoiding throwing to his side. In the past 3 or 4 weeks, he has been almost unbeatable.
Drees to punt again with Miller deep. Off the side of his foot, low punt. Does get a Penn State bounce and will roll dead inside the 30 down to about the 27-yard line. 35 yards on a fortuitous roll for the Nittany Lions, who trail by 3.
company that does this much business can only be headed in one direction. Forward.
Still at Grand Central, got 1,037,500 copies. The Pitney Bowes copier is still working. How's that look?
Identical. I have an audition this afternoon.
Copies in my resume.
Need a couple more copies. My music.
A lot of people coming up making free copies, and the machine's been purring like a kitten.
A flyer for my rap band, Too Slim to Be Large.
What are you doing now?
Always need lots of copies of the resume.
Just kick the thing. And the Pitney Bowes 9070 has got 1,051,088 copies after copy after copy.
In a world of sweeping changes, there is one certainty. The financial strength of the Prudential, rock solid in securities, insurance, and real estate.
Is Malcolm Jamal Warner hearing wedding bells? No, it's the doorbell from hell, causing romantic interruptus.
Why me?
Can true love survive the world's nosiest neighbors?
I am getting ticked off.
All new Here and Now returns to NBC tonight.
To fight crime, cities are putting police back on the streets.
Kids really ask me, am I a policeman? And they can't believe it because I relate to them so well.
Monday on NBC Nightly News.
Penn State quarterback Kerry Collins, who was taken in the baseball draft by the Detroit Tigers in 1990, doesn't have his fastball today. He's had a tough time throwing the football, and ironic, the 11 in Pennsylvania native from a state that has produced so many great quarterbacks, struggling today. Here's Meyer. Lost it for Dawson downfield. Diving catch, it came loose.
What a great effort by Lake Dawson. Really like the way that Lake Dawson plays the game of football. Surprised that time by Lou Holt. So far, Notre Dame has run the ball 90% of the time today. 18 of 20 on first down. That time they come out with a play action off of the option action and almost hit a big one to Lake Dawson.
Almost 48 yards. Was that a beautiful almost fingertip catch? Reminds me of a former pro player that was a great receiver. Steve Largent. Brooks. Is it time for me to put that running joke to bed?
You won't, so I don't know why I'm going to say anything. Third down 10. You know, one of the disadvantages, you try and hit the big play on first down. Now you're putting a lot of pressure on your offense. Lou Holtz now with the 3rd and 10 situation. I'd like to see him go to the straight drop back here. When we've seen Rick Meyer in straight drop back situations, he's been very effective. Maybe Irv Smith right over the ball.
Brooks held in check by the Penn State defense and the field conditions today. Meyer fired a bullet. Incomplete, intended for Becton. Well, it has become indeed a defensive struggle. Notre Dame has not scored a touchdown. Gibbons and the Penn State defense have held them out of the end zone. They do have 3 field goals.
That was a poor play by the freshman that time, Derek Mays. He was supposed to run a hook on down the field and clear it out for Lee Becton, but he cut his route off a little bit short, and they ended up with 2 men in the exact same spot. Really nowhere for Rick Meyer to throw the ball.
Hendrick will punt to McDuffie. Went straight up in the air. Bounces backwards. It'll be down at about the 43-yard line. Craig Hendrick hoping to ply his trade in the NFL next season as either a punter or a place kicker, and gives us a chance to remind you that we'll have plenty of NFL action for you tomorrow here on NBC. It all starts at 12:30 Eastern Time with NFL Live. Then the Houston Oilers started off the season very well, but on hard times lately. They've lost 3 of their last 4 games. Warren Moon knocked cold by the Steelers, pulled early against the Browns. And they'll have a tough time tomorrow as they take on the Minnesota Vikings. Will Moon and Jack Pardee be able to turn things around soon? O.J. Simpson will have that story on NFL Live at 12:30 tomorrow. Collins looked like he threw it as far as he could. McDuffie can't hang on. Twisting, turning, fingertip catch, no.
Well, That's the second one that McDuffie's had his hands on and had a chance to make a big play. He got behind Tom Carter that time, and for some reason he tried to flip all the way around. It's such a tough catch when you have to turn your head all the way around and try and find the ball. Once again, probably would have been better to try and go into some kind of a back pedal and just fall backwards and try and come up with the play. They're trying to get it to O.J. McDuffie, and he's had his chances, but it's failed on 2 long plays.
He's the man in a game like this that you need to make a big play, isn't he?
And he made 3 of them last year for Penn State, had 3 touchdowns versus the Irish.
See if he goes to him again. Yes, and this time he makes the catch. And McDuffie fights his way to the Irish 30-yard line. Penn State first down on a 27-yard gain.
Such a good call by Joe Paterno. You get behind Tom Carter on the last play, so what do you do here? Make it look like it's going to be a deep pass, then have McDuffie break it off underneath. Just put the football in his hands and give him a chance to do something with it.
First reception of the day for O.J. McDuffie. Joe Paterno said the best player he's been around in 42 years at State College, Pennsylvania. Delayed handoff, nothing. Demetrius DeBow stopping Mike Archie. Behind the line, Devon McDonald came in to put the clincher on.
Watch Devon McDonald, number 45, and Demetrius DeBow's play this counter tray absolutely perfectly. McDonald took the inside route and really broke up the pulling offensive lineman, which allowed Demetrius DeBow's to come in behind it and make the play.
Boy, this kind of game you like. Look at the mud on the helmets. The uniforms are dirty. Snow, mud, cold temperatures. Penn State fighting to at least tie, perhaps go ahead. Collins bobbled the ball as he sets up the screen, and DeBose comes from nowhere to knock it away from O'Neal.
Demetrius DeBose got there about 3 or 4 seconds before the ball did, and he's going to get no call on it. Watch DeBose. You see him, number 31. He'll arrive well before the ball got there.
That should have been an interference call.
But remember, earlier in the game, they had a chance. They set up the screen. It was wide open, but Demetrius DeBose hadn't read that time. They need about 10 to have a legitimate shot at a field goal.
They're 0 of 8 on 3rd and long, and only a couple of 3rd down conversions all day. Collins buying time with the roll. Time runs out, and he throws it up for grabs. Knocked down. Double coverage. Burris was there with Carter. Thomas was the intended receiver in the end zone.
A real break that time for Kerry Collins. He just threw that one up in the air and hoped.
Should you have tried for a shorter pass and perhaps a tying field goal?
Well, you're looking at a 3rd down and 12. In all likelihood, you're not going to pick up the first down. If you get 5 or 6 yards, you at least give your field goal kicker a chance to tie the score, but by just throwing the ball up in the air. And there's really no need to punt here. I like the call by Joe Paterno. Why not? A punt only gains you 10, 11 yards. See if you can get your team back in the game.
4th and 12. Archie on the draw. Doesn't fool anybody. Got 3 yards. And the ball will go over to Notre Dame.
Let me rephrase that. I like the decision. I didn't like the call. I guess when you've got a back, well, that wasn't even Richie Anderson. That's Mike Archie. And Demetrius DeBose has been studying some film.
So Notre Dame will take over on its own 30-yard line. Irish up 9-6, 1:55 left in the 3rd. Brooks. Reggie Brooks got 9 yards. Gelheiser finally tackling Brooks, who almost broke another big one. As we said, he's held in check for most of the game, but a candidate to break one at any time.
You just get the feeling that this game is beginning to shift towards Notre Dame.
Jerome Bettis all the way inside the 35-yard line, and the Irish taking huge chunks of yardage on this drive. Shelly Hammonds finally stopped Jerome Bettis after a 26-yard gain.
Well, even with the big numbers that Reggie Brooks has put up, when I talk with pro coaches, they still want to know about Jerome Bettis. He just has so many tools. He's a great runner, a great blocker, a great receiver, right up the gut, and just absolutely overpowered Reggie Gibbons, the fine linebacker from Penn State.
Brooks can't spin away from the Penn State defense, the center of the defense, and Tyoka Jackson converging on Brooks as we come in the final minute, inside the final minute of the third quarter.
Joe Paterno glancing at the clock. He's still okay. He feels good about this game. It's 9-6 as they're heading for the fourth quarter now. That's what he wanted. He wanted a close ball game to have a chance to win it in the fourth quarter. He has that now, but his defense has to make a stand.
Trips to the right. Bettis. Good defense by Penn State. Bettis only got a yard as they came with a spread formation, gave it to Bettis, and Penn State was not fooled. Phil Yeboah Cody gets credit for the Penn State tackle, and that was the final play of the third quarter. So that's the end of the third quarter here at Notre Dame Stadium. Notre Dame leading Penn State 9-6, and we'll be back after these messages from your local station.
Hi, I'm Michael Keaton. I'm hosting Saturday Night Live this week with musical guest Morrissey. I'll be doing my impressions of George Bush, Ross Perot, and the Church Lady. What do you got, babe?
Right now, you can get a big, juicy Rally Burger for just 79 cents. But you better hurry. This 79-cent deal won't last. 79 cents for a limited time only at Rally's.
Thank you for coming to Rally's.
Right now, you can get a big, juicy Rally Burger for just 79 cents. But you better hurry. This 79-cent deal won't last. 79 cents for a limited time only at Rally's.
Thank you for coming to Rally's.
When it comes to values, nearly 750,000 people agree. Mercury Sable is the one car they value. Why? Could be Sable's dual airbag protection, standard for '93. Its contoured interior with 6-passenger comfort. Its available ABS brakes or aerodynamic shape. Then again, it could be a more basic value, like a great low price. The 1993 Mercury Sable. All this and the quality of a Mercury.
I went to this big eyewear store for their budget buys.
I went to Sight & Save for top quality glasses at everyday low prices.
I didn't like the budget buys, but these were only $125.
These were only $39.
But they had nothing in budget buys.
I had a huge choice, and I got Sight & Save's 30-day total satisfaction guarantee.
Well, yours weren't budget buys.
Neither were yours.
Sight & Save's unmatched buying power means top quality eyewear at sensible prices. Sight & Save eyewear. It's just plain common sense.
It'll be here soon, winter, and with it comes rust, brought on by the salt trucks. That's why now is the best time for Ziebart Rust Protection. Protection against what the salt trucks throw at you. So before you start seeing this or this, take a look at this. Right now, our winter protection package is 50% off. Get rust protection, fabric protection, and underbody sound barrier for just $2.75. Better hurry, winter's coming. Call Ziebart Tidy Car for better-looking, longer-lasting cars.
Jim Donovan on sports, weeknights on Channel 3 News.
Ready to start the fourth quarter in a matchup between two ranked teams, two legendary coaches, Joe Paterno of Penn State.
Already made some gutsy calls. Both these coaches today. Lou Holtz going for it on 4th and 1, throwing the pass. Joe Paterno on the other side going for it on 4th and 12.
Meyer looks to the end zone for Dawson. Can't get it. Dawson might have hurt himself as he banged against the bleachers there in the corner of the end zone, but he's all right.
I thought that was a good decision by Rick Meyer. Lake Dawson trying to run a post corner. Derek Bonna just did not bite on it, had good position. Rick just took it and threw it out of bounds.
So fourth down, Notre Dame. This is a similar situation that we saw Penn State in their last possession when Coach Paterno, as you said, the two coaching legends making some fourth down decisions. Not to pooch punt, but to go for it with a draw play.
Similar in the fact that same part of the field, but Lou Holtz is up 9-6.
Nope, fake. Hendrick throws. Broken up. Edwards was not ruled.
Very, very interesting call by Lou Holtz. I guess basically the same thought process that Joe Paterno had on the other side of the field. Why try and punt the ball when you get it on the 35? And I think Lou Holtz wanted a pass interference on that play. Didn't see pass interference.
Isn't it interesting, even under these conditions, these two master coaches putting their imprint on the game with some of those decisions? Nobody's hit the big jackpot yet with one. Richie Anderson on that carry for the Nittany Lions. Oliver Gibson made the tackle for Notre Dame.
Well, that's a momentum lift, really, for Penn State. And rather than having the ball backed up on their 4, 5, 6 yard line, if Hendrick hits the good punt. And you know what may have been a tip-off right there was the fact that Rick Meyer wasn't in to do the pooch punting. He is generally the guy that comes in. I don't know why they wouldn't have used Rick Meyer to throw that pass if you wanted to fake.
I wonder if Penn State picked that up. First down run by Richie Anderson. Indeed, it does look like Penn State has gotten a lift from holding Notre Dame on the fake.
Well, when you're the underdog, this is all you can ask for. You're down 9-6. Get the ball out around midfield. Now, because of the fake punch, you are in a better position as far as the field is concerned. They pick up a first down, give your defense a little bit of time to rest. You don't really expect this Penn State offense to take it all the way down the field, but every first down certainly helps in the battle of field position.
It's only the 7th first down of the game for Penn State. Anderson got 3 yards. Well, Penn State has been very strong in the 4th quarter, and beginning the 4th quarter with that defensive stop of the fake, and perhaps that will generate some enthusiasm for their offense, which has sputtered lately.
Need to get O.J. McDuffie back in the game now. He's your star. He's your game breaker. If you have some kind of a quick way to flip him the ball, here he comes out here. He's got the one-on-one matchup with Tom Carter.
And they're looking for him. McDuffie and incomplete.
I believe it was tipped by Demetrius DeBose. The play was there. It was the same hook that they had run earlier and gotten the ball to O.J. McDuffie. That time Demetrius DeBose able to sprint out across the field and get a hand on it, I believe.
There it is. Just at the last second, DeBose, with that underneath coverage, able to deflect the pass.
Again, there's nothing like having speed on defense. That's what made the play.
DeBose has acquitted himself well in his final home appearance. His mom, who's his biggest critic, will like that.
And biggest fan.
Collins. Underneath to his tight end, and that's Drayton's first catch of the day. And he'll have a first down on that.
What a break for Penn State. When Drayton was being dragged to the field, he landed on top of the man that was trying to tackle him, and that propelled him forward for the first down.
What an odd play. Watch the end of it.
Watch as DeBose makes the tackle. Now he's going to bring him down, and Drayton will land right on top of him. His knee didn't touch the ground, and it gave him the extra 2 or 3 yards for the first down.
Drayton has been a key weapon, the second leading receiver for the Nittany Lions, and that's the first time he's come into play this afternoon. Here's McDuffie taken out of bounds. That's about a 5-yard gain.
And Tom, what I think is happening is the field is beginning to clear up. Some of the snow is beginning to melt. The sun is out now, and the offenses are beginning to find their footing. You can see the big patch right in the middle of the field where the ball is beginning to move up and down. Still some problems in the red zone where the snow still is, but as far as the middle of the field, there's room to operate now.
McDuffie was calling for a towel on the sidelines to get the mud off his gloves. Draw play Anderson. And Anderson will be a yard short of a first down, tackled by Jeff Burris.
You would think that this is 4-down territory for Penn State, that they've got a 3rd down now and about a yard and a half. I'm sure Joe Paterno has a 4th down call ready. You've got 12 and a half minutes now to go in this ball game. But with some of the problems that Penn State has had moving the football, when you get an effective drive like this going, I would think Joe Paterno would take 2 cracks.
8th play for Penn State is 3rd and 2. O'Neal, he has a first down inside the Notre Dame 30. Suddenly, the Penn State offense has the running game going. An occasional pass by Collins, and they've moved inside the Notre Dame 30.
That's a nice call by Joe Paterno. They line up in that formation where Richie Anderson has been diving over the top. And rather than giving the ball to Anderson, they turn around and give it on a quick trap to Brian O'Neill. Surprise Notre Dame's defense.
Fake the pitch. Collins on the roll. He's got the corner. Collins running out of bounds. He got 8 yards before Jeff Burris knocked him to the sideline.
That was really a nice play by Ryan Grieve. Demetrius DeBose had man-to-man coverage on Grieve, and watch him just kind of turn around and get in the way of DeBose. That allowed Collins to turn the corner.
Paterno's Nittany Lions moving the football with new life here in the fourth quarter. It all started with a hold of Notre Dame on a fake fourth down punt. Pitch to Anderson. First down. Anderson is to the 15-yard line, wrapped up by DeBose.
Now you've got it first down and 15. First down and 10 on the 15-yard line. Now's when you begin to match wits. Joe Paterno making the calls himself, going against Rick Minner and Lou Holtz. Rick Minner, the defensive coordinator. Rick Minner told me he wanted moments like this in the ball game where the offense, for whatever reason, has problems, and his defense has a chance to win one.
Collins in trouble. Sacked by Oliver Gibson.
Again, the inexperience of Kerry Collins. You've got the ball at the 15-yard line. You're in perfect position to at least tie the ball game. Don't give up the sack. If it's not there initially, if the blocking is breaking down, just throw it away.
That's Rick Renner with the headphones on. Defensive coordinator for the Irish. Now it's 2nd and 20. McDuffie hammered by DeBose, and the pass sails incomplete.
Looks like they're playing an in-and-out type of coverage on O.J. McDuffie right now. They had deep help. Greg Lane was behind him, and Demetrius DeBose looked like he was in charge of anything coming back underneath on the field. Kerry Collins that time picking out O.J. McDuffie and not being willing to go away from him. But now they need to worry about the field goal more than the touchdown. Don't be surprised to see Penn State come up with a running play here. They go with the full house backfield.
Play action pass. Collins for the end zone. Stopped just short is Drayton after making the catch at about the 1.5-yard line, maybe the 2. It's a 22-yard gain. The calls of the coaches, yes, they will have an effect. Not playing for the field goal. Paterno calls for the play-action pass.
Rick Minner has to be absolutely shocked. And Troy Drayton's a former wide receiver, so when he gets down the field, he knows what to do with the ball. But you can tell by how clean his jersey is, he really hasn't been that big of a factor in the ball game thus far. But in the clutch, it was Troy Drayton.
That may be the biggest reception. Anderson, airborne, flipped over short of the goal line to the 1.
I believe you're going to see that play called until they either stop them or they score a touchdown. You'll see Richie Anderson diving over the pile 3 more times, if necessary.
You wouldn't go for a tying field goal on 4th down?
No. No. Not with the kind of year that Penn State has had.
Loss on the play as Anderson tried the dive again, and it's 3rd and goal.
Don't understand that call. Anytime you start running sideways on this Notre Dame defense, they're just too fast. What you want to do is just try and attack them up the middle. The problem is they've lost so many yards on that play now. They're almost back to the 4-yard line on the 3.5. Now the dive over the top is no longer an option. See if they fake the dive and handoff on the trap again to Brian O'Neill.
Fake. Collins still has it. Now he's in deep trouble, and he throws it away.
Now you kick the field goal. Now you kick the field goal. You're too far out.
4th down, and the field goal unit is on. Nittany Lions lost their #1 kicker, Fayek, to a back injury earlier this season. And V.J. Masillo is the kicker. Masillo has hit his only 2 field goal attempts.
And Tom, this is the toughest angle for a right-footed kicker. To try and come and pull it across his body, the tendency is to always hook it a little too much.
Bobby Taylor blocked an extra point earlier, and Masillo bangs it through from 21 yards. Clutch kick by V.J. Masillo, 21-yard field goal. And suddenly it's not nearly as cold for the Nittany Lions at Notre Dame Stadium. We're tied at 9.
A test drive, 6 miles on smooth roads. If I was only driving 6 miles on smooth roads, I'd buy a bike. I'd get in shape. Let me test drive in rush hour traffic so I can see if it'll last like a Subaru. Let me test drive it to snowy Alaska so I can see if it has all-wheel drive like a Legacy. Don't take me around the block. Let's get it to 50 and slam the brakes so I can see if it offers anti-lock brakes like a Legacy. Test drives aren't real. What's real is the money I'm spending. Show me. Tell me. I have the money. I want to know what to drive.
Other laser printers have been playing leapfrog for years in a futile effort to catch up with the HP LaserJet. Now they're truly up against it. Hewlett-Packard introduces the HP LaserJet 4, a new generation, a new standard to reach for. Good luck, fellas. If it isn't a LaserJet, it's only a laser printer.
Now save 25% on selected Goodyear all-season radials for cars and light trucks. Save 25% on Invicta GS. Save 25% on Wrangler AT and HT. That's right, save 25%. Where? Goodyear. When? Now.
The Black & Decker Workmate. About all it can't help you do is clean up. But at least it gets out of your way, and it's a powerful gift idea.
Notre Dame football is brought to you by Subaru, it's what to drive. By Xerox, the document company. By State Farm Insurance. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And by Magnavox, smart choices for smart people. The ingenious products from Magnavox. They're smart, very smart.
Here's the key play in the Penn State drive. 3rd down and 20. Troy Drayton right here. They've got the full house backfield. Going to go with the play action face. Fake Drayton down the field. Going to go to the sideline. Here's the mistake. The freshman Bobby Taylor will bite to the inside. He has help over here on this side of the field, but he didn't allow it to happen. He bit on the inside fake, and Drayton was able to get open down the field. Here's a second look of the same play. Troy Drayton was able to burn the freshman.
Bobby Taylor, the freshman from Longview, Texas. That was a big play for Penn State. They couldn't punch it into the end zone, but kick a tying field goal. And it's 9-9. Penn State has the only touchdown of the game, and the extra point was blocked. Here's that short kickoff again. Fair catch called for and taken by Nick Smith.
Well, that's a sign of ultimate respect for Mike Miller. The ball only gets down to the 35-yard line. Even if you just kick it out of bounds, you get it back to the 35. I don't think Joe Paterno particularly liked the kick. He wanted to pooch it, but he wanted to get it a little further down the field.
There's Miller, who was the deep return man, the speedy one for Notre Dame. Now Rick Meyer passed up a chance to turn pro last year to return for his senior season on his final appearance on Notre Dame field, trying to direct a winning drive for the Irish. He hands to Bettis on first down, and Bettis gets 5 yards.
No panic on the part of Notre Dame. A lot of time, 8 minutes and 25 seconds here. Want to go back to what they do best, hand the ball to Jerome Bettis. He has the hot hand in this game.
High formation, Bettis, the fullback, Brooks, the tailback. Bettis drew a crowd. Might have lost some yardage on the play. Phil Yaboa-Cody, junior linebacker from Montreal, Canada.
Stopped in the backfield.
With a big play for the defense.
This would be a huge emotional lift for this Penn State defense if they could get off the field after just 3 plays, get the ball right back to their offense. They've got some momentum on the offensive side of the ball. Key third down play.
3rd and long. 3rd and 7 exactly. Meyer to Smith. And Irv Smith fumbles the ball, and Penn State recovers.
Irv Smith just tried to do too much with the ball. Tom, one of the ironic parts of the game of football is the fact that there are times when you should allow yourself to be tackled. Here's one of those situations. Irv Smith had the ball, had the first down, just go down. Those extra 2 or 3 yards in that situation don't help you. And the likelihood of fumbling when you get in a crowd like this goes way up.
And did you see Reggie Gibbons rip the ball free? Gibbons ripped it free of Smith, and Gelheiser recovered. Richie Anderson gains 4 yards to the 40-yard line of Notre Dame. Bryant Young on the tackle. And now it's Penn State that is in a position to win the game with 6:57 and counting.
7 minutes.
We need about 15 yards to have a legitimate shot at a field goal. 6:50 to go in the ball game. Irv Smith, a couple of big mistakes in this one.
Look back to those 5 turnovers against Stanford. The only loss of the season for the Irish here at Notre Dame Stadium. Anderson with a nice determined run. And Anderson carrying tacklers for a first down to the 31-yard line.
He's their star, along with O.J. McDuffie. Now that offensive line's starting to feel it. That's how you can tell that the traction is getting better on the football field. The offensive line is beginning to get a push now, not only for Penn State, but for Notre Dame as well.
Richie Anderson, 25 carries, 73 yards in the game. First down, Penn State. Straight ahead to O'Neal. Got a yard at best. Stopped by the center of the Notre Dame defense, led by Brian Hamilton.
Those quick traps, they either hit for big gains or they get stuffed right at the line of scrimmage. That time Hamilton doing a nice job of diagnosing the play. He made his first career start just a few weeks ago against Navy and has been doing a good job since.
With a quick look-in pass that's complete. McDuffie inside the 15. Jet Burris finally wrestled him down with help from Devon McDonald, but a 16-yard strike to O.J. McDuffie.
They came with the blitz, and that took away the underneath coverage, allowing McDuffie to come up with the quick catch. Again, right back to the stars. It's been a show between O.J. McDuffie and Richie Anderson. Those are the 2 players you want to handle the football now.
Named O.J. after O.J. Simpson, the year Juice won the Heisman Trophy the year after. And Anderson with a couple of yards on the carry. O.J. McDuffie named by his grandmother. And she couldn't go for the Orenthal James, though. She went for Otis James, but still O.J. after the juice.
You won't see Joe Paterno put the ball in the air again. There's under 5 minutes and counting now. 2 more runs, attempt the field goal, try and come out of here with a 12-9 win. 9-9 tie. O'Neal. Touchdown. The same exact call that Brian Hamilton stopped earlier, the quick trap. Everyone looking for Richie Anderson, everyone looking for O.J. McDuffie. They sneak the trap right up the middle.
13-yard touchdown run by Brian O'Neal, his 3rd touchdown of the season. Now the extra point, Masillo. His first one was blocked. This one up and through. Penn State takes advantage of the Notre Dame fumble and punches it in for the go-ahead touchdown. Here it is, 13 yards. Brian O'Neal up the middle, breaking through tacklers and reaching the end zone. And Penn State takes the lead at Notre Dame 16-9.
This Magnavox portable CD player with pure digital sound is the best thing to take on vacation. Unless you compare it with this clever Magnavox 5-inch TV, great pictures anywhere. Of course, the best is this compact yet intelligent Magnavox camcorder with autofocus. Unless you take this Magnavox 3-inch LCD TV, which connects to my camcorder, so I can watch my vacation on the ride home. Looks as though I had a pretty good time.
The ingenious products from Magnavox. They're smart, very smart.
Families are big, big business, so everybody says theirs is a family car. All right, tell me it has 90 cubic feet of passenger space like a Subaru Legacy then. Enough room for 5 so you're close but not touching me close. Tell me it has a quiet, horizontally opposed engine like the Legacy. There's enough noise already with a family. Tell me it offers all-wheel drive and anti-lock brakes like a Legacy. A family car is for my family, not some other family I don't care so much about. Tell me I have the money. I want to know what to drive.
We put our best people on the project. Hope they come through.
One network color laser printer not only brings everyone together, it brings out the best in everyone. Intelligent color for any document, only from Xerox.
Putting it together. Before building new water mains, we had to know where the old ones were.
Xerox color not only helps with little details, it gives you the big picture too. Intelligent color for any document, only from Xerox.
Putting it together.
Took me about 25 years to see things the way I do now. And I think I'm still learning. One thing that the customer should get is the feeling that he is the most important person in the place. At your service. You open your place to people more with American Express. It's easier. No, I couldn't really put it any other way.
American Express is welcomed at Harry's Bar and just about anywhere else Harry's been.
The Oilers looking to bounce back. The Vikings, NFC Central leaders. Mayhem in the Metrodome, Sunday.
Here's the touchdown play, simply man blocking, doubling down on the nose, sealing out here on the end, and Demetrius DeBose is going to overrun the play. The quick handoff, Demetrius DeBose ran himself out of position. Now let's take a look at why he ran himself out of position. He's going to look down at his armband and check something. I don't know exactly what it is, but there you can see it.
That's where they have the defensive calls, yeah.
And DeBose was not ready for the snap of the ball.
Remember when Rick Minter took over as defensive coordinator, he instituted a system where the defensive calls are on the wristband, similar to what a quarterback on offense would wear. So they make some signals from the sidelines, and then the players check their wristbands for the call.
But why is he checking it then? I mean, it wasn't a no huddle, it wasn't wasn't a surprise at the line type of play. He had plenty of time to look at that wristband.
Look at this. They put Brooks in that spot where the ball's been going, and Brooks makes the catch and returns it across the 35 to the 36-yard line. They put Brooks in the spot where the kickoff has been coming. Well, it's 16-9. Why is it not 8 points instead of only 7? Because of a blocked extra point on Penn State's first touchdown. It was Bobby Taylor, the freshman, that got airborne to deflect the extra point attempt. And so Notre Dame, with a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, can still win the game.
Don't forget the 2-point conversion is still a possibility.
Pass deflected. One of the Notre Dame linemen is trying to knock it to the turf. He can't catch it, of course, and that will go incomplete as Meyer took a hit.
That was a great play by Todd Norman. Watch this ball get tipped in the air. Everybody is free. Meyer gets racked on the play, but then Todd Norman's going to reach up and strip the ball out of the air and force it to the ground. That could have very easily been intercepted.
Notre Dame has scored 49 touchdowns this season. They have not scored a touchdown today, only 3 field goals. It's been since 1987 since they didn't score a touchdown. Screen pass, Bettis, blockers in front. Bettis to the outside. Bettis knocked out of bounds at the 42-yard line by Lee Rubin.
Looks like Jerome Bettis may be hurt on the play. There's another player out on the field that looks like he's hurt as well. Right at the end of the play, he's going to get, looks like that, I can't tell if it's the ankle, the knee, don't even want to guess.
Well, this would be a tremendous blow if Jerome Bettis, who just ripped off 22 yards, would have to leave the game. And meanwhile, it is Ray Griggs, one of the wide receivers, that's helped from the field as well.
But that puts Mike Miller in the ball game, the fastest player they have on their team. Lake Dawson, Mike Miller going to the top of the field, both on the same side of the ball.
There's Miller, number 83. He's in the slot left. Meyer collides with a man he was faking to and is sacked back to the 49-yard line. 5th sack of the day for Penn State. Rich McKenzie made that play.
Rich McKenzie didn't like what happened at the end of that play either.
He and Lytle got tangled up.
Dean Lytle, just a play action pass, and they run into each other. One of the problems when you deal with a backup, you don't get all the timing, don't get all the work. See what Meyer's reaction here is at the end of the play. No wonder he didn't like it.
2nd and 16 now. Reverses his field.
Miller's open.
But Meyer will run. Knocked ahead 5 yards. Let's see where they spot the football. He will be inside the 35 of Penn State. Derek Bana gave him a shot, but it propelled him ahead.
What a weapon when you have a quarterback that can run. Rick Meyer able to get outside, make something happen on his own. Now 3rd and very short for Notre Dame.
And Bettis is back in. There's the 6 on the back of Jerome Bettis. It's going to be 3rd down and less than a yard. Jeff Burris is also in. They'll go to that power full house T backfield. Brooks, Bettis, Burris. Bettis. That'll be close.
I don't believe he got it.
Brian Gelheiser on the tackle for Penn State. They'll stop the clock to measure.
That's a break for Notre Dame. Lou Holtz not having to use one of his 3 remaining timeouts.
And now he did use a timeout. So Lou Holtz calls timeout. It could be 4th down coming up depending on the outcome of the measurement. We'll be back.
A test drive, 6 miles on smooth roads. If I was only driving 6 miles on smooth roads, I'd buy a bike. I'd get in shape. Let me test drive in rush hour traffic so I can see if it'll last like a Subaru. Let me test drive it to snowy Alaska so I can see if it has all-wheel drive like a Legacy. Don't take me around the block. Let's get it to 50 and slam the brakes so I can see if it offers anti-lock brakes like a Legacy. Test drives aren't real. What's real is the money I'm spending. Show me. Tell me. I have the money. I want to know what to drive.
There's only one way I know how to drive. Straight.
If you've been drinking, pick someone else to do the driving. A message from Budweiser.
Yep, I'm part of the management team now, Mama.
Oh, baby, I'm so proud of you.
It's only afternoons.
But still, it's a promotion.
I gotta get back to work.
Guess what, Anna?
Calvin is the new manager at McDonald's.
Straight up? Cal's been on it at Mickey D's, so they gave him his property.
He owns a McDonald's and just got his property.
For real?
Calvin?
Calvin that used to hang out on the corner?
So you own McDonald's?
No, not yet.
State Farm sells life insurance. And when we start you out with a life insurance plan, our job is just beginning. You see, we're there after you buy the policy, keeping in touch as your life changes, listening, explaining, answering your questions, helping you keep your life insurance plan up to date as your needs change. State Farm agents are there to start you right, and we're there to keep things right for the people you love.
State Farm sells life insurance.
A machinist, a real estate broker, an insurance agent, a local legend. Four men who had their NBA dreams unfulfilled today get their chance. 3-on-3 versus Dr. J's team of NBA greats. George Gervin, Michael Cooper, Calvin Murphy, and Walter Davis on the Court of Dreams in the Hoop It Up Finals today.
2:21 left in the game, 16-9, Penn State leading. Good news for Notre Dame. By the nose of the football, they have picked up a first down. But bad news may be, you saw that snow. The only really snow remaining on the field is in the end zone where Notre Dame is trying to reach.
Spread formation. Maybe trying to open up a little room for Jerome Bettis.
Here's Brooks, who lined up as a wide receiver. They threw it for him, but he was surrounded by white jerseys. Now a penalty marker is down. Could have had linemen downfield on that one.
Lou Benfatti broke up the play. That's exactly right. An eligible receiver down the field. Give credit to Lou Benfatti for making the play. This is the flanker screen that Notre Dame has used throughout the course of the season. Has had a couple of long touchdown passes on it. You'll see the offensive lineman anticipating that the ball would be thrown there, but it wasn't because of Benfatti. They're way downfield. An easy call for the officials.
Repeat first down.
So set the ball back to the 38-yard line. It'll be 1st and 15 for the Irish. Pass across the middle. Reception made by Ray Griggs. That'll be a Notre Dame first down. Lee Rubin tackled Griggs after 17 yards.
Conservative play in the Penn State secondary, a zone defense. Really no one clearing out the deep man. He had a chance to come up and jump the play. But Rick Meyer, with that strong arm, able to zip it into Ray Griggs.
Draw play, Brooks to the outside. Reggie Brooks tried to make a cut and couldn't in the snow. Still got about 5 yards to the 15. Reggie Givens with another Penn State tackle. And now inside 2 minutes.
And they did charge Notre Dame with the timeout, even though they were coming on the field for the measurement. Only 2 remaining now for Notre Dame. Plenty of time to operate. Set once again.
Meyer has to scramble. Thought about passing. Now runs out of bounds at the 10. That should be enough for a Notre Dame first down.
Tom, if he hadn't taken the time to make one more look down the field, he may have been able to turn the corner. He hesitated to look back across the field to see if he can find a wide receiver, and it may have cost him a touchdown. Take a look. Watch him hesitate here. And by doing that, he wasn't quite able to turn the corner. Probably wouldn't have scored, but may have had it down to the 5-yard line.
The Irish hopes for a top 5 finish in the country hanging in the balance with 1:14 left in the clock. They trail Penn State 16-9. First and goal at the 9-yard line. Brooks, Bettis blocking for him. Brooks shook one tackler and is inside the 5. Phil Yaboa-Cody made the saving tackle as Reggie Brooks now inside the minute, and Lou Holtz has to be thinking ahead. The 2-point play should they score.
You know that they have a 2-point play that they've practiced week after week, but they have to score first.
At Radio Shack, there's more to the name. Top electronics, computers and games, more products and service than ever before. It's all from America's technology store. The best in America, Radio Shack. Nobody compares to Radio Shack. Names you can trust, products you know, the service you count on. There's one place to go for the best in America. Radio Shack.
When you publish thousands of newsletters a week, color is out of the question.
Invest in the fastest highlight color laser printer and come to a different conclusion. Intelligent color for any document, only from Xerox.
Putting it together. Our sales figures were confusing. No one understood them.
With our digital color copier, you get the clarity of color with the stroke of a pen and touch of a screen. Intelligent color for any document, only from Xerox.
Putting it together.
I want a car. A car that moves. I've had my father's car, my older brother's car, a car that died pulling out of the lot. I want a car with power. Tell me it has 230 horsepower like the Subaru SVX. Tell me it'll produce 228 pound-feet of torque. I don't know what that means, but I like it. Tell me it's built like a Subaru. I don't want any more mechanic friends. I have enough friends, too many friends. Don't tell me how it'll handle on an open road. What's that? Tell me how it'll do in Chicago. Chicago on a lousy day. Tell me it has all-wheel drive like a Subaru SVX, so it's good on Vermont snow, good Miami rain, good on a road filled with drivers with their learner's permits. Don't tell me about wood paneling, about winning the respect of my neighbors. They're my neighbors, they're not my heroes. Tell me it has special lash adjusters like the SVX, so there's no more valve adjustments. Tell me it has an airbag and windows I can slide down when it rains and not get soaked like an SVX. Tell me. I have the money. I want to know what to drive.
The Ironman, the most demanding test of strength and perseverance in all of sports. 2.5 miles by water, 112 miles by bike, then the 26-mile marathon. Witness the agony and the ecstasy of the world's best triathletes. The Gatorade Ironman Triathlon, next Saturday on NBC.
In the late afternoon chill of Notre Dame Stadium, Lou Holtz pacing the sideline, hoping for a touchdown, and then Chris, no doubt, a 2-point conversion. I don't think he would kick for the tie.
And in this situation, Tom, I look for one of two things. Either a straight dive up the middle because of the field conditions, or sprint Rick Meyer on the corner.
Second and goal from just inside the 5. Meyer on the option. Fake the pitch, cut upfield, and is only to the 4-yard line. Little, if any, gain on the play. Clock continues to roll. Notre Dame with 1 timeout left.
A surprising call by Lou Holtz. They've tried the option 3 or 4 times today. It hasn't worked. He comes back with it here on the goal line. Now you almost have to try and sprint Rick Meyer on the corner. Although they don't have the type of formation for that.
Full house tee. Fake it. Meyer looks to throw. Incomplete, intended for Brooks. It'll be 4th down.
Bring the wide receivers back in the game now. Spread out the defense. Put Rick Meyer on the corner. Give him a chance to either throw the ball in the end zone or run it in himself.
Rick Meyer, who wears the same number 3 that Joe Montana made with so many great comebacks here at Notre Dame. In his final appearance at Notre Dame Stadium, trying to pull this one out. Notre Dame takes a timeout to discuss the play call. That's their final timeout.
Good decision. No reason to save that timeout. I'm sure that they've got a 2-point play that they've practiced time after time during the course of every single week of the season. So that one's already set in stone. This one is not. Probably going to see him come in with 3 to 4 wide receivers, spread the field. They're on the near hash, which gives Rick Mirer plenty of room to operate. The negative side of this is that he's a right-handed quarterback, so he's going to have to be able to turn his shoulders up the field. A much tougher pass for Rick Mirer as a right-handed quarterback. Joe Paterno on the other sideline, defensively, they're saying the same thing. They're going to work the wide side of the field. Joe is a zone defense type of man. He will flood that area with as many bodies as he can come up with and try and defend against Rick Mirer.
Fourth and goal. The ball on the Penn State 4-yard line. Nittany Lions leading 16-9, 25 seconds left. Floats it for Bettis. Touchdown!
Have to be careful about too much celebration. Remember, the 2-point play is forthcoming. Need to get the fans off the field. Not to mention the fact that Jerome Bettis has been hurt. Looks like he's okay. He came out of the melee. Now comes the set play. Everybody on Notre Dame's offense knows what this will be. They have the right to move the ball to either hash mark that they choose.
They choose the left hash mark. 16, 15, 20 seconds left. Notre Dame will go for the 2-point conversion.
Tom, they've taken it back right to the middle of the field now.
Trips left. Bettis right. Mirer. Yes! Brooks!
with the play. Here he is, right here. He's going to come all the way across the field, get lost in some traffic, and Rick Mirer was able to find him. Penn State had shifted their defense to the left when Rick Mirer looked left. Now he scrambles right. Great clutch catch by Reggie Brooks. One more time, the key to the play is Rick Mirer. As he looked left, the zone defense shifted that way. As he comes back, Reggie Brooks left all alone in the right corner.
And the patience of Rick Mirer. Did that number 3 remind you of anybody?
Indeed.
And Brooks, he didn't get his 8.3 yards a carry today, but did he contribute? What a catch. He laid his body out. He held on. Notre Dame converts 4th and goal from the 4 for the touchdown, then the 2-point conversion.
Now, Tom, I don't know exactly why they're kicking off here from the 20-yard line.
They got penalized for the celebration.
I apologize. But Penn State has 3 timeouts remaining. 20 seconds to go in this game, and Notre Dame only has a 1-point lead. It's not over.
Hendrick, squib kick, picked up on the bounce. And Penn State will start from midfield.
Need about 20 yards here, and you cannot afford to have a penalty. The Notre Dame players need to just get off the field. Here's the play. Here's the two-point play. Rick Meyer sets it up. The athletic ability, finding Reggie Brooks, who has made so many plays for Notre Dame this year. He makes a big one. Now the pressure shifts to Notre Dame defense.
Kerry Collins. Sideline pattern. Out of bounds. No catch. Why would they go short like that when they have 3 timeouts left?
Especially when they had Troy Drayton wide open across the middle of the field. You don't have to throw for the sidelines. They've got 3 timeouts, time not a factor. Now 9 seconds. They cannot throw short here. It has to be an intermediate type of route, at least 20 yards down the field. McDuffie to the boundary.
Collins pumped once and then threw it away. Now only 3 seconds left.
Remember now that Kerry Collins is a pitcher. He has an 89-mile-per-hour fastball. Plenty of heat. So he will have no problem getting this ball into the end zone. You have to bide some time. There's no time now for a pass play and a field goal. You have to go with the Hail Mary down the field. Joe Paterno wants a timeout to talk about it.
Joe Paterno told us his quarterback, Kerry Collins, was a leader, very smart, had a very strong arm, but he lacks experience and accuracy. 2 of the things you might need in this situation.
And we saw the lack of experience there on first down. With 15 seconds, they had plenty of time. Needed to dump the ball off over the middle to Troy Drayton. He looked to the sideline, feeling like he had to have a ball that could be caught and out of bounds. That was not the case with 3 timeouts. Now defensively for Notre Dame, you just back up everybody. They can't beat you without a penalty. Don't forget, though, that should there be a defensive foul, the game cannot end. So the last thing Notre Dame can afford to happen here is a pass interference play. Pass interference down the field would give Penn State a chance to kick the game-winning field goal.
And take a look at the defense deployed by Notre Dame here. They have 8 people deep.
There'll be more than that in just a minute.
Collins lets it go. Out of bounds. Notre Dame wins.
Coach, you've been involved in some great wins. Where would you put this one?
I thought that our... Hey, settle down! I thought our kids showed great character. They came back, they hang in. I thought that it was just a wonderful victory to be part of because it was a never-say-die attitude.
And the guys that, did it for you all year, Meyer and Brooks, came through again on that play?
Boy, I want to tell you what, we used up every 4th down play and 2-point conversion we've ever thought about, but it was a great win. I'm happy for our team, and our defense really played outstanding.
Congratulations, Coach, on a great
Thank you.
And Joe Paterno's Nittany Lions gave it their best shot. The traditional salute, the helmets raised to the students. And at Notre Dame, final home game of 1992, and it came down to the seniors making their final appearance. 4th and goal from the 4, Meyer to Bettis for the touchdown. 2-point conversion, Meyer to Brooks. All seniors, all contributing, setting off this massive celebration.
And I'm happy for Rick Meyer, a young man that came back to Notre Dame for all the right reasons. Wanted to finish his education, wanted to help the university that had done so much for him, try to win a national championship. They probably won't get that, but certainly a moment to remember for Rick Mirer.
And so the Penn State-Notre Dame series ends forever, tied 8-1.
Remember Rick Mirer in the infirmary yesterday, couldn't keep his food down.
Here. Rick, what a fantastic win. Is this the highlight of your season?
It's got to be the highlight of my career. We beat these guys since I've been here playing, and this is everything. You know, a guy named DeBose showed up on defense, and those guys all rallied. I love it.
All right, what happened on the two-point conversion?
I can't hear you.
Rick, what happened on the two?
Well, it's supposed to be Irvin to go to the left side. I couldn't find anybody. I ran. Reggie. I haven't figured it out yet what happened, but it's off a good feeling.
I know that you yesterday were quite ill. How are you feeling coming into the game? They look fine.
I haven't felt real good in the last 24 hours, but I got to feel the next 24.
All right, thanks a lot. Rick Mirer, this series in record books, dead even at 8-1-1.
Rick Mirer, Notre Dame's all-time total offense leader, with the clutch play, the closing drive of the game to pull out the victory for the Irish.
Well, you couldn't hear him, but you could tell by the smile on his face that he's feeling pretty good.
Got the idea, didn't he?
That's right. Indeed, they did play like a champion today. This is an amazing scene on the field. Almost the entire crowd now out on the field, and Demetrius DeBose may never get to the locker room. And I don't think he wants to.
Well, that's the spirit of Notre Dame. You've heard about it a lot. You're seeing it in action.
Starts playing a few tunes, they may never leave. Band's out there, but they're having a hard time getting lined up. There's so many people on the field. They crank into the fight song, this place will go bananas.
John Dockery is with Reggie Brooks.
Way to win. What a dramatic way to end your home football career. Tell me about the play. Tell me about the catch.
It was I just had a crossing route, and I saw Rick scrambling, so I ran over there to get open, and he threw a great pass, and all I had to do was catch it. I just thank God he gave me this opportunity to go out a winner.
It wasn't exactly designed that way. He was running around back there for a while, and you get open.
Yes, definitely. When the quarterback scrambles, you go to the back.
What was it designed for? Who was it designed to go to?
It wasn't any particular person. It just got open.
Just spread it out and find the open. That was it?
Yes.
Congratulations on a fantastic Reggie. Okay, back to you, Tom.
Reggie Brooks. Coach Holt said he knew they'd have great play at tailback, but even he didn't anticipate the season that young man has had. The traditional touch of the play like a champion sign in the tunnel that leads to Notre Dame Field.
There you see Reggie Brooks. He has not given up the football. Caught the two-point conversion that made the difference.
Here's the play that won it for the Irish, the two-point conversion.
There we go. Here's Reggie Brooks right here. He's going to come across the field, and watch some of the action here. There's going to be a natural pick created so that Brooks can be sprung free. Watch Rick Meyer's head. He's looking left all the way. He's trying to find someone on the left side of the ball. The entire defense shifts with his head, and that allowed Reggie Brooks to find the wide open spot in the right side of the end zone. The key to the play again, Rick Mirer, as he looked off the defense. A zone defense is taught to slide with the head of the quarterback, and that's what created the hole on the right side. The end of the play, Rick Meyer took a big shot, but he doesn't care. He deserves that moment.
John Dockery has one of the defensive stars of the game for the Irish, Demetrius DeBose.
None other than Captain Demetrius DeBose. Last game as a senior here in South Bend. Can you describe the feeling?
No, not really. I can't describe it. It's great just to be a part of Notre Dame, and I think really the tradition showed up today. I can't say enough about the tradition, and I'm glad I came here, and it's just the way I wanted to end it. I think I'm a part of something great, and that's always been my dream, and to come to Notre Dame and be a part of something real. And today, as the spirit showed, and for all those guys that doubt Notre Dame and doubt the spirit, it's not phony, it exists.
It certainly did, Demetrius. I have to ask you two questions. On the touchdown, it appeared, as we watched it on replay, that you were looking down at your wristband maybe at the play. What happened there?
Well, we went from, we checked, we have a huddle call, and there was a Tennessee call, and they checked to Tennessee, and I looked at my card because I didn't see what the huddle call was, and when I looked down, they snapped the ball, and I was out of position, and it was actually my fault that they scored a touchdown. But, you know, Rick Meyer led those guys, and Jerome, and those guys played outstanding. I'm just happy to be a part of it.
What a moment. Congratulations, Demetrius DeBose. Okay, Tom, to you, Tom.
Okay, John, let's take a look now at our Chevrolet players of the game. Reggie Givens, the outstanding linebacker from Penn State, and Rick Meyer from Notre Dame. In conjunction with this program, Chevrolet will contribute $2,000 to the National Association of Student Financial Aid Administrators for disbursement to deserving college students so that they may continue their education. 4th and goal, a 2-point conversion, and Notre Dame beats Penn State 17-16. Jim Lampley in New York. They did indeed wake up some echoes at Notre Dame Stadium today.
Echoes indeed. High drama at South Bend. Let's give you a little bit of the high drama elsewhere in college football today, where there have been two dramatic upsets. The first of them, a tie. Illinois notching the equal mark with Michigan 22 apiece. Michigan's Peter Elzovic kicking a 39-yard field goal, the longest of his career in the closing seconds, to clinch for Michigan the Big Ten championship and the Rose Bowl berth for the 4th time in 5 years, but also knocking the Wolverines certainly out of the national championship picture, as they are now 8 wins, 0 losses, 2 ties on the season. The other massive upset, unbelievable. Iowa State beats Nebraska 19-10 in Ames, this coming after Nebraska had smothered Colorado and Kansas in the 2 preceding weeks and seemed headed for sure to the Orange Bowl and a matchup against Florida State. Today, Iowa State had 370-plus rushing yards for Coach Jim Walden and a 3rd-string quarterback named Marv Seiler, a senior making the first start of his career, had a 78-yard run to set up the only Iowa State touchdown in the game. 4 Ty Stewart field goals helped the Cyclones to nail Nebraska 19-10. This throws the Big 8 Orange Bowl picture into a cocked hat, with both Colorado and Kansas now back in contention for that Orange Bowl berth. Oregon State and Washington, a game going on right now. The Huskies trying to rebound from the loss to Arizona last week, leading 24-0 at halftime. Southern Cal has gotten the first half touchdown all year against Arizona, an Estrus Creighton run giving the Trojans a 6-0 halftime lead. Syracuse and Boston College game with big bowl implications, 10-10 tied up in the 2nd quarter. Auburn and Georgia, oldest rivalry in the South, 7-7 at halftime. Garrison Hurst in the game, 18 carries, 57 yards, 1 TD, so far having a relatively slow day. Colorado and Kansas rejuvenated now by the loss on the part of Nebraska, 17-7, Colorado leading in the 2nd quarter at Lawrence. Ohio State and Indiana. Ohio State almost got back into the Rose Bowl picture, but Michigan, by pulling out the tie, keeps the Buckeyes out of it. Nevertheless, the Buckeyes lead Indiana 3-0 at halftime. They stopped the Hoosiers on their 1-yard line at the end of the 1st half. Oregon leads UCLA 3-0 early as the Bruins are having a miserable season under Coach Terry Donahue. Miami beat Temple 48-0, extending Miami's streaks to now 27 in a row overall, 51 in a row in the Orange Bowl, 56 in a row against unranked teams, still trying to match Oklahoma in 55 and 56, last unbeaten national champions 2 years in a row.
With 4,900 touchdowns a day around the world, it's no wonder Delta is the official airline of the NFL.
An all-new special 2-hour eyewitness video, NBC Sunday at 7. Imagine being trapped in the eye of a tornado. Eyewitness the destruction as it happens. Then a prison riot shot from behind prison walls. Not a movie, the real thing. You shot it, we got it. See the revealing video that brought the kings of porno to justice. Then eyewitness college students taken hostage and meet the survivors.
I can't believe it's over. I can't believe it's over.
You shot it, we got it. These videos and many more on all-new special 2-hour eyewitness video, NBC Sunday at 7.
What's even better than 0% financing on Fretter's low prices? 0% financing for 1 full year. Now it's even better to buy at Fretter.
To get your daily supply of vitamin B6, just march right up and eat at least 30 Brussels sprouts. Or get your full day supply of B6 and 10 other vitamins and minerals in one delicious bowl of Kellogg's 19 cereal, the vitamin and mineral provider.
Doppler 3 forecasts from Amy Haston, weeknights on Channel 3 News.
Right now, you can get a big, juicy Rally Burger for just 79 cents. But you better hurry. This 79-cent deal won't last. 79 cents for a limited time only at Rally's.
Thank you for coming to Rally's.
Right now, you can get a big, juicy Rally Burger for just 79 cents. But you better hurry. This 79-cent deal won't last. 79 cents for a limited time only at Rally's.
Thank you for coming to Rally's.
Mako Auto Painting is always priced right. Our Ambassador Paint Service could be just what you need. We chemically scrub, sand, and prepare your car's old surface bumper to bumper and give it a high-grade oven finish. Mako's Ambassador Paint Service, a great paint value anywhere at only $149. All backed in writing by over 400 Mako centers nationwide. Sound like a great deal? Take a hard look at your car and you tell us. Ambassador Service is a whole lot of value. Now only $149. Because nobody does more for less. If that showroom shine is your bottom line, get Mako.
Jim Donovan on sports, weeknights on Channel 3 News.
It begins early with childhood simplicity. Timeless traditions to be passed on, dreams of glory ahead. America's game. Its arenas chiseled into cityscapes, lush countrysides, and pastel landscapes. It's the Indiana classroom of a boy named Bird, the North Carolina proving ground of the kid they called Mike, and New York's asphalt coliseums where Bernard King and Chris Mullin earned their rites of passage. A democratic playground culture that bonds generations and inspires the heroes of tomorrow.
Man, I feel like a star.
And now, all across America, men and women have the chance to find out who rules the world of street ball.
Y'all ready for this? Move it up!
It up. That's it right there.
Welcome to Dallas, Texas, and the World Hoop It Up 3-on-3 Championships. More than 100,000 players from 40 cities in the United States and overseas have battled throughout the year to reach the finals and find out who is the very best at 3-on-3 schoolyard basketball. Hello, everybody. I'm Ahmad Rashad. We have taken the west end of Dallas and transformed streets and parking lots into basketball heaven. Today, we'll crown a champion in both men's and women's Top Gun division. Joining me now is a man who has won every possible championship from the NCAA to the Olympics to the NBA. And Quinn, I guess the only one that you haven't won is a Hoop It Up championship.
Well, I haven't won the Hoop It Up, but like everybody else, when you start out, you dream of playing out here on the asphalt, 3-on-3 on the streets. The dream is to play against some of the best players that ever played.
Well, that dream will now become a reality because the national champion here has a chance to play against some NBA greats.
Well, they got a great opportunity because they get a chance to play against Michael Cooper, recently from the Lakers, Walter Davis, one of the great shooters of all time, George Gervin, a tremendous scorer, and Calvin Murphy. But they got a leader, the Doc, Julius Erving, that's going to try to lead them to their championship.
And I know Julius Erving will not let his team take it easy on these national champions. They'll play hard, won't they?
No, this is about pride. This is where you get your reputation. You got to come with it here.
All right, also with us, joining us on the streets and the sidelines, is Hannah Storm.
Thanks, Ahmad.
Well, many of the men and women playing in the Hoop It Up Championship are former high school or college basketball stars. Hoop It Up is essentially dedicated to the weekend warrior, the recreational player. And Hoop It Up has dozens of divisions for all ages and abilities, with teams ranging from a group of kids that plays on the mean streets of South Central LA to a team of Manhattan bus drivers. And we'll hear some of their stories this afternoon as well.
Now, before we get started, let's take a look at what has been happening around the world this year with Hoop It Up. They come in all shapes, sizes, ages, and colors, with styles uniquely their own. From coast to coast, would-be's, wannabes, and a few used-to-be's gather to Hoop It Up and share their love for a game. He's Jerry Campbell. She's Raylyn Campbell. 2 years ago, they began a courtship here at Hoop It Up. Now they're a husband and wife.
It's kind of funny when I say I met my husband on the street somewhere in Salt Lake City. It's kind of fun, though.
2 children later, Hoop It Up has become another anniversary for the Campbells to celebrate.
Become a tradition, I guess you could say, between us two.
And speaking of families, how about Team Bravo? A mom, dad, son, and nephew who always know the score on and off the court.
We have very few rules in our home. One of them is that we always have dinner together, we always pray together, and we play basketball together, and that's really the truth.
Meet Bud Fry and teammate Gary Richardson. Back in 1958, they co-captained Louisiana Tech to 21 wins and their conference title. 34 years and a few pounds later, some things never change.
Well, the Rusty Pistols just seemed appropriate because we were always gunners.
The Rangers versus the Islanders. The rivalry is just as fierce as ever, even though these ice vets would prefer a slap shot over a jump shot.
You know what I found out there, that the net is a little too small. I'm used to a 4x6 net.
After the first 2 shots, I missed the backboard, the basket, everything. I decided maybe I better be a passer.
Most of the people think that deaf people can't play basketball, so we have to prove that we can play basketball.
When this student team from Gallaudet University in Washington, D.C. takes the court, seeing is believing.
Like a secret code, they can talk, and we don't know what they say, you know. They doing their own.